tried to be your friend, but you will not listen to me. So you invited this monster. Don't make me kill somebody.
Woo! While they sleep, we work. Yeah. A little bit. While they sleep, we work.
Good morning, come on in. Coffee's good, fresh and hot. There's a waffle in the baker, on the grill we're making bacon. You're always welcome back.
Charge!
What is up, everybody? That was an unexpected snafu, I think, in the playing of that. But I've got a love that kills, and I've got 24 hours to something come back. It's good to see all you fine folks. Let's see who we've got here in the chat. And let me check my audio settings, because every now and again, my headphones do something. No, we're good. We're good. Let's see what we got in the chat here. We have got Lloyd Burton up first. Absolutely great to see you, Lloyd. We have got John. We have got, let's see, Jeremy Burtz is here. American Comics Company. You are always in good company when American Comics Company is here. We have got, let's see who else. We've got Phil. We've got Zaid Comics in the house. What's up, Zaid? Let's see here. We have got Bogan World. What is up, and hail to you, Bogan World. Lord Crackhead 33. Bow to Lord Crackhead 33, my brother from another mother. It is good to see you. Stephen Rockwood, what is up, brother? And God, I have not been putting all of you amazing people on stream. What the heck am I thinking? Wow, not me. You guys. Amazing stuff, guys. I am glad to see you guys here. I don't know what the hell was going on there. We had a little bit of a break there in decorum. So we've got Stephen Rockwood drawing. Yes, Drawn Sword Graphics. It is great to see you, my friend. Jay Lee, what is up? It is great to see you, my friend. My author from another author. I don't know what we'd say there, but no. What's up? Hey yo to you as well. Like and sub, please do. It is good to see all of you guys. So let's do some art. Let's talk and let's hang out and do some stuff here at the Waffle Lodge. It's a little bit of a low-key Waffle Lodge. There are many programs playing right now. We know that you have a choice in where you go. I know Ethan is streaming right now. I think Patrick Thomas Parnell is streaming right now. All great streamers, all cool people. Just got a text from my brother Gabe. We just streamed tonight to do our Double Impact stream, and he was just letting me know that the really amazing artist who is working on Truth, Justice, American Way, Dave Williams, sends his best, because I'm trying to make sure I'm always promoting that book, because Gabe and I have, we've just gotten to know each other since coming into Comicsgate over a love of Van Damme and 80s action movies, and here we are. So it's always great when you meet people in this little sphere, in this outfit, as we like to call it. Let me see here. The other author from the other Vampire Lands. Absolutely right. Absolutely. Let's see here. I abandoned a couple Australians to be here. No, we love the Bogans. Bro Hawk. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, David Williams has just got such an elegant, beautiful style. That was a good Double Impact stream tonight. Thank you so much. Big Trouble is one of my favorite Kurt Russell movies. It's one of my favorite ones too. And when we talk about movies that kind of teach you about things about like being a guy and what that means and all that kind of thing, that was one of those movies where I was like going, oh wow, that's Jack Burton has much knowledge for me to learn from, and I want to make sure that there's a little bit of Jack Burton in me by the time I'm at that age, and I think it always finds its way in. Let's see here. What's up? Power Up J-Bot. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. Syndicate might be more fit than outfit. You're right. I won't be too much of a help tonight. Working on learning by the waters of Babylon on banjo tonight. Hats off. Yeah, my friend's dad was actually named for a country musician, and he was a banjo player. He played in a band called the Dismembered Tennesseans, and he was a Tennessean. Yeah, banjo is a very tough instrument. Yeah, it's all in the reflexes is one of my favorite lines. You're absolutely right. Big Trouble in Little China is the greatest movie ever made. I can't argue there. It is fantastic. Everybody's getting their hails in. Admiral Wackass, how are you doing? I salute you, sir. Got to crash right now, but have a great night all. I'll be listening as I pass out. It sounds good. I will be streaming as I pass out. That's kind of how it works. Hey, Jason. Yep, we're dropping stuff in the chat, some YouTubing. Hey, John, always good to see you, man. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's saying hello. Hail, Bogan, Mullets, agreed. Let's see here. What do we got here? John is here. Good. Aldous is here. Hail, what's up? Aldous says, I am sleeping currently. That's right. That's right. As long as you're home safe, that's all that matters, guys. You can fall asleep once you're home. Just make sure if you're on the road tonight, you're staying awake. Maybe we're keeping you some company. You're getting some waffles if you can get some. Let's see here. Yes, Kia or John. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Killed in action, John. There you go. Let's see here. Let's see. From Drawn Sword Graphics, we've got Nosfero the Crypt Walker link. Thank you, Jeremy, for dropping that in there, guys. We were past 21K, and it is coming along great. And yeah, everybody's saying hello to each other. So one of the things I wanted to do tonight, as sort of like a cool down, drawing after, I've been working on a trailer for Truth, Justice, American Way. So I've got that commission. I've been working on that most of the morning today and last night and a little bit in the afternoon and evening. The days are kind of blurring together. And so I'm working on that, which is great, doing some 2.5D stuff on that, just a little fun stuff, because I'm a big fan of the book. It was an honor to have Gabe, ask me to work on that trailer. And then I'm, working on the, getting ready to send the commission off to Narwhal, just so everybody knows. And you may have gotten the alert already, but Narwhal is going to be on this channel tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about his book, Nosferatu. As two fans of Nosferatu, I think we will get up to all kinds of fun and excitement, and I'm looking forward to that. And so I thought for a cool down tonight, I would just do some prelim work, and I don't even know what this thing's going to be yet, but some work on Rob Arnold's character from The Replicator that we were talking about last stream. And so I wanted to make sure that, I did something fun on stream tonight. So this was what I decided I'd work on, because I think it's just such a great character and a fun character. Really excited about getting The Replicator, which I think is still available in demand. But do correct me if I'm wrong. And really excited about that. So let me see. I think I dropped a piece of popcorn in my bedroom. I must find it. That happens. I believe in you, Jason. You'll find it. There you go. Always supportive. I saw. That's awesome. There you go. Which thing are we saying we saw? Angela Curry, it's great to see you. How are you? Thank you for saying hello, and hello to the chat as well. Unhinged, I found it because of your optimism, Lord Crackhead 33. That's how we do things. Zaid Comics. Nice. Might jump in later if you're still on. There's always a chance I will still be on. Let's see, everybody saying their hails and hellos, which is always good to see. And we have got Nosferatu link there in the chat to the great Narwhal, who I'm curious to talk to him. I'm learning, obviously our love of Nosferatu. You meet the coolest people in CG. But also I learned that he went to, he mentioned on stream, he went to Evergreen State College. And I bet we have some very similar academic experiences and conversations there. So I thought that was really interesting. I actually jumped on earlier tonight. I got a private message from Rini about her stream. She said, we're talking about whether or not people should go to art school. And the chat was saying that, and some of you guys were in that chat, were saying you should come on, and we should have you on. And so, do you want to come on? And once I finished my stream with Gabe, I saw they were still streaming, popped in there for a bit, to share some of my my experiences there with art school from from behind the scenes, so to speak. And it was really interesting. I haven't spent a lot of time talking about it, to be honest. I've talked about it a little bit, but it's certainly not the center of my channel or anything I do because, to be honest, I had I had a former student who's now a faculty member contact me with a question about, like, there was this piece of artwork you used to show. Do you remember what it was? What the name of it was? And I could not remember for the life of me. But just having that flashback or flood back into my head was I just was like, no, no. But she's a very nice person, and God bless her. But it is a very strange thing. But I went in there and shared some experiences because I sort of felt as though it's important to not important, but it felt like something that I wanted to make sure I weighed in on because I think people need to know what they're getting into and how much things have changed. So it was an interesting thing. Yeah, John came in and said no. Yeah, that was the first word out of my mouth, man. And you remember, hey, what's up, Leg Kick? It's good to see you, my friend. Leg Kick 1 in the chat. Yeah, I went in and I was like, yeah, no. And I actually showed all of the research. I feel look, I don't ever think that I will never think that, it's like my opinion is, the opinion of everybody should do what people should do whatever they want to do. I mean, if somebody wants to go to college and go into the kind of debt that there is now, then they should absolutely, if it's a decision they've given a lot of thought, they should go and do it. It's like, I don't think that, that I'm not here to tell anybody, what they should or shouldn't do. And frankly, I have no interest in that. That's why that was one of the things about teaching that I got really tired of at the end. People wanting to, have you tell them what to do, and people trying to tell you what to do is this weirdest thing. But yeah, I went in there and I just wanted to make sure. I said, look, my last year teaching college was last year. I did it for 18 years. I went to college. I was not exactly, I was a first round draft pick, we could say. I was 17 for 2 months when I was offered early acceptance into a fairly, elite with I think the highest after Yale percentage of rejected candidates there. So I know a little bit, and I've, lectured a bunch of places, and I was saying, if you've been to college anytime before 2013, 14, or 15, but mainly 15, you do not know what that place is like. Oh, Unhinged, take care, my friend. Yeah, go get some rest. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. Leg Kick 1. Hey, Shant, have you seen Nobody on HBO from the makers of John Wick? I have not. What is it like? I have not even heard of it. Very cool. There are certain skills that are easier to learn with instruction, but once you have those skills, just bail. Yeah, I wish to God. One of the big things I requested, and then I just couldn't do it anymore. I stopped doing it, was to teach freshmen. And what I learned after several years of teaching freshmen is you could teach people pretty much all of the foundational skills that they are going to need in one semester. And I mean, I'm talking about taking students who have no understanding of painting, who are merely average at what they do, and bringing them to a level of competency where they're doing some of the best work in the class, just based on having knowledge and potential. And you never know who it's going to come from. I consider myself to have been fairly good at that. And I have experience doing it, but this is the thing. That is what it was like when I was in school. And I even have to explain this in my own household, is not what it's like now. It's basically like when you talk to people like Ethan Van Sciver is a really good example of that. Or Shane was slightly after that. John Malin is kind of the next generation. And then you talk to people like Graham Nolan, who've had a lot more experience than that. When they talk about what the comic book industry was like, it is nothing like it's been since 2014 or 15. Like, it was such a quick change. It gives you whiplash. Let's see here. Yeah, there are certain skills. Yes. Let's see here. You got to check out from on Epics. It's incredibly good. Loving it. Yeah, there's a lot of great TV. Action flick up yours and Gabe's alley. I bet we would love it. Leg Kick 1. It sounds like it's a really good show. Nobody. I will have to check that out. American Comics Company says, speaking of Chuck Dixon's last Ask Chuck Dixon, number 99, was a narration of me from the teens into the 20s view on comic industry, view of comic industry lived. The facts of truth rang very solid, very worthwhile for current creators. That is really cool. Yeah, Chuck Dixon has had some stories, yeah, for sure about it, and he's been great at it. You mean successful since the change? Laugh out loud. Yes, there you go. Yeah, it's a very strange thing to describe, what those things are like. But you really have to say to yourself, like for me, I think, largely because I had kids, I used to think these are people's kids. They've invested a lot of time getting them to this point where they're at. And my goal is to, and this is going way back, my goal is to make sure that I skill them up and get them where because I would want someone to help my kid gain whatever skills they still have to show up. They still have to do their homework, but I would want my kids to receive that kind of education from a professor. And what got to be the problem is no different than what got to be the problem in mainstream comics. It was everywhere, which is you have classmates who are getting in the way of the education, policing their classmates, policing their professors, and they're the least skilled. They never have their homework, but they have all the time in the world to police everybody else in the art school and tell them, and act like they have the right to tell everybody stuff. And what are you going to do with that, man? What are you going to do? Hey, what's up, the dying days of YouTube? Hail chat, just caught Chuck on replay of Gabe's stream, Absolute Champions. Hell yeah, Chuck, hail. I won't say what our rallying cry is for Chuck Dixon, for any of you guys who were here in the early days. But I still think it's important, but I'm not doing it on stream because I don't want to get my channel deleted. So there you have it. It's like, you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dying days of YouTube. And you still have, I'm still completely overwhelmed and so touched by the Hogan the Bogan, man. That was such an amazing thing, to behold for me as someone, who loves making Comicsgate videos and thinks it's such an important thing. Now you can see what I'm working right here, by the way. What I'm doing, this is why I this is why I can't paint and talk as well, because I'll just start going over things, Yes, Jeremy, D's out for Dixon. Yeah, absolutely. If I recall. Yeah, we go back to, I think you may have been in CG and hanging out in CG before me. I pretty much go back to the Fandom Menace days and the glory days of the High Council when it first started, but, also Ethan's streams and pre-cancellation and all that stuff. And, I tell you what, man, those were crazy times, and but a lot of stuff came out of that we all enjoy right now, and it's very bizarre to go back to those times and have been there when when Cecil was first appearing, and coming on World Class with all them, which was amazing, Dude, my pleasure. Hey, listen, man, I really appreciate it, man. Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. D out for Dixon. Yeah, Chuck's new magazine. Yeah, I know. I remember that. That's the greatest ever. Yeah, hail the dying days of YouTube. Yes, Jeremy, right on. You're absolutely right. And so for me, those kinds of things were really those were great times. And I think that, when I was thinking about what I wanted to do with this YouTube channel and where I wanted to go with it, the thing that and I was like, what should I do? I mean, Bancroft, everybody has some really cool stuff. And I went back to those days hanging out at the Waffle House as a kid and just being up. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever stayed up so late. There's no food. Your insides are just burning. You're so hungry, and you're saying to yourselves, guys, you want to go over to the Waffle House and just get some breakfast or something? And those were some of the best times for me. I just loved the insanity of it, the madness of it, of just us hanging out and doing fun things like that. And so that's what I wanted to make sure we did here, you know. And then I looked up my Waffle House to see how things were, and the only video that came up was a news article of a shooting at my Waffle House in 2015. So, you know, it wasn't the best area, but it was what it was. It was our area. Yeah, the good old days, absolutely. Yeah, and the good old days of CG and the good new days of CG, and things will change. Things will go how they go. As you know, I was talking with Gabe about that during the stream and a bit after the stream. I think the biggest thing that I was thinking about is I'm going to retire, and I said this on Double Impact with Gabe tonight. I am going to retire. You can't make movies like that anymore. You can't make comics like that anymore, which I've said all the time. I've just gotten to this habit. I'm going to start saying you can't get permission to make those kinds of things anymore, but you can make them. It's just a question of whether, but when you have a creative idea, you say to yourself, sí, pero no tengo permiso. Or you say, yo tengo permiso. And that is really what it comes down to, guys. That's what it's about. 2015 was pivotal across the board. Art schools and Waffle House. Yes, it was a time of great decline. And I actually, what my work is about, and something I actually used to say when I was teaching is your attitude has to be, I have permission to do this stuff, to make this work. And I don't have to, have anybody else's, any corporation's approval. I have to have you guys' support. If I don't have that, then it ain't happening. You guys have to like what we're making, and we have to gain those skills over however many decades it takes. But it's not rocket science. It's you have to have the courage to not be a kept artist. And that can be a little bit scary. I mean, make no mistake, I was making okay money at my job, and it took me 18 years. I had just gotten one of those big step raises the year before, but not a huge step. I mean, if I told you, you would be like, are you serious? But one of those step raises that you get every certain amount of years for how much time you put in. You have to do 5 years, and then you do this. And it took me, I want to say 12 or 13 years, I think it was. I think it was 12 years to get a full-time position in that industry. They're very hard to get. To walk away from that was not an easy decision. And more than when people hear me say, no, don't go to art school or whatever, or I wouldn't advise someone to go to art school now, what people have to understand is it's sort of like Ethan and talking about DC Comics. There's a bittersweet memory of when it was great and when it was fun, and it was heartbreaking to lose that. It's not, it's not something that I'm like, oh, wasn't this cool? I spent 18 years of my life in this profession. It was like, no, it was not fun. So I want to talk about this character a little bit. I want to talk about, let me see here. How about we say you should make movies? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about this character, and I want to talk a little bit about what I love about this character. And what this character and this world makes me think of, which is sitting on the floor, reading comics at my friend Zach's house, and him painting and teaching me about Warhammer 40K and this elves and orcs miniature game called Blood Bowl. Does anybody in the chat remember the miniatures, the football game fantasy world called Blood Bowl from the 80s? I don't know if anybody, and you're absolutely right on that. Yeah, absolutely right. Credit to your family for supporting a life-changing decision like that. Yeah, my wife is amazing. No. Says YouTube teaches you. Yeah, the internet has things you need to learn. You need the right attitude and mindset and spirit to achieve your artistic dreams. You're absolutely right. That is absolutely right. Absolutely. Yeah. Power up, J-Pot. Absolutely. Yeah. That is what it's about, and it's like picking your team is important. I was saying to Gabe that there's the crabs in a bucket mentality can happen anywhere. It can happen anywhere, and it is the thing that I would define as being at the root of SJWism, but it can happen anywhere. It can happen in corporate culture. It can happen, and it's maybe under the auspices of different things. And for me, the thing I will say is that I said that is something that I'm always wary of, and when I see it, I'm like, get out of my life. But the other thing that I love is the passionate people and the people who are inspired and excited by art and the possibilities and the people who um have just a good heart and believe in doing this work. And my wife is definitely one of those people. She walks the walk. And some days you have just tough days, but we get it together and we make shit happen, just like all of you guys, right? Let's see here. Oh God, my eyes just went out of focus. Maybe I touched my glasses. Let's see here. Power up JBot, absolutely. And then we have, I remember the video game, not the tabletop game. Yeah. It was so good, guys. I mean, it was just so cool for a teenager. I remember the Bud Bowls. Hey, I remember the Bud Bowls too. Those were awesome. Yeah, and Angela Curry is laughing. Yeah. It's funny, I think it's comics is a wonderful way to be crazy and to fall in love with stuff. And I've always loved comics. I wish I, could express to everybody how great comics are. And this is what's so great. Kids born after 1975 are one long generation. They grew up on the same things. Pokemon is still a thing. My Little Pony is still a thing. It's one long con. And most of them feel they deserve things now. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. That is an interesting one. I don't know what all of it is. Yeah, resentment, like envy, never progresses to happiness. No, it doesn't. It actually doesn't. It's any situation, which is why I think that Comicsgate is such a big deal. We're actually backing, supporting, and making things happen here, and that's what we need. That's what that gives people inspiration. Like I was talking to on Gabe Stream, and I said, when I look at whether I'm going to buy a new Blu-ray or whether I'm going to buy a CG book, I'm always leaning towards CG. Like, because not because I'm like, oh, I have this moral imperative. It's actually because it feels great to support an artist who I know is it's going directly to the artist and making it happen, blah, blah, blah. Causes the crabs in a bucket scenario. Absolutely, you're right. That's true. No. Says, worst part is once you leave the plantation, they will come for you. Yeah, even if you were under, yes, the boot heel of others, they don't want any of us to be. Yeah, but no, that meme about, you're not being inclusive, and yeah, absolutely, Angela Curry. That meme about you're not being inclusive, and then they get into the environment, they chase you out. You say, well, build your own thing. And they say you're excluding us. I think there's like 5 panels before that and 5 panels after that of that cartoon. And one day I'm going to do a version of that where I kind of add some of the things that happen, but it really is a very bizarre phenomenon of misery, and it doesn't make anyone happy. Actually, in the end, it destroys its host, so that everybody who comes in to to push out the actual skilled people and achieve positions of power ends up being laid off when the thing goes under. I mean, if people could, they would disenfranchise J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter. Like, if they could drive her off of her own creation, but she owns the copyright, and she's smart and she's not afraid of anybody. But if they could, they would. No doubt about it, they would. Let's see here. That's true. Causes the crabs in bucket scenario. Where did it go? Oh, yes. Don't forget to like and sub and get the Indiegogo's chat and another order. Yes, absolutely. And hang on a second here. I got to clean my glasses. I must have accidentally touched my glasses. I can't see anything out of my reasonably good eye. Let's see here. And John says, happiness is anathema to their vision. Yeah, I think that I was watching the best YouTube channel. Deal with it, folks. The best YouTube channel is a YouTube channel called Townsend's, and it's an Indiana business where they have made, and his father just passed away, but his father started a business in the 70s making historical clothing for historical reenactors, and the business has gone on since the 70s, and his son John took it over. They show everything from 18th century cooking to how to build a burnout canoe. It is awesome. If you are looking for a little island of goodness, in YouTube, and people who are actually just doing things, they're a small family business that employ, a decent amount of people, and they have one of those professionally done YouTube channel, and it's all done in-house, and they're just a really cool group of people. Go check them out. But I was watching them today, and I was thinking, that's what I want to be about. Not 18th century stuff, but what did you guys talk about on Double Impact? We talked about Big Trouble in Little China, Angela Curry, and it was a lot of fun. And then we kind of, meandered into CG and gratitude and all that. You know how we are, Angela. You've seen us. We meander sometimes. We've been known to meander. Let me see if I can reduce that. I'm looking for, I have on my screen somewhere, if I can find it, I had some reference material for this, and I'm going to see if I can track it down. I have the comics, but I'm such a nerd about my comics. When I take them out, it has to be, it has to be done with reverence. I don't want to break the spine or anything like that, and I can't paint with comics open. But I think I have something around here. So there it is. I got it. Hang on a second. I'm going to totally boomer this stream in a second, but you can sense it. There we go. That's what I wanted. And then let me catch up with the chat here. Let's move this over. Cool. But it's still up. It can be rewatched. We will have these people decide the fate of humanity and the Great Recess, Neo, Dark Ages, or Fallout. But the real bad versions, like 4, many of these people knew who to kiss up to. Not learning. Oh, statecraft. I think I kind of get that. Bummer, I didn't get the notification. Yeah, we came up with it late. Gabe is a trooper. Gabe has been streaming, and promoting his book like constantly, and you can just it wears on you. I know you guys know this. You've watched us all do this like maniacs. I'm, getting my feet under me and doing it more and more. That camera's out of position. And it is what it is. Yeah. That's what makes me hate Atlas Shrugged so much. Ayn Rand showed me what these people are really like. Hollow inside, hateful of your creativity and spark. Yeah. I love that book. My wife and I both read that this year. It's one of my favorite books. Yep. True. And then meander through the topics like a lovely spring day walk in the fields of poppies. Yeah. And I'm telling you what, Gabe and I, the Nosfero is sort of the center of what I do. Obviously, in terms of the CG thing, the YouTube thing is important, and I'm learning how to get better at the YouTube thing and get better as a broadcaster. And for me, the people that I look at to inspire me on YouTube are obviously, gosh, I learned so much from Ethan and John Malin in particular, the way he talks about it. But I will say, looking at people like Townsend's really gets me thinking about the professionalism of it. I think certainly think a little bit about my language use, which is suboptimal. And but I think about, and I don't want it to be this, ever be a neutered sort of thing, but I do think it's important to try to get better at doing the job better. Let's see here. Meander through topics. At John, Gabe made a great observation about SJW unspoken dogma being about pleasure over happiness. That's true. Hard work is not pleasurable. It is not. Yeah, creating Twitter praiseworthy characters is pleasurable and lazy. You're absolutely right. Yes, absolutely right. Yeah, original characters, all that sort of stuff inside of worlds. The difficulty is that the worlds are where we're getting it from. And that's the stuff that's the slog. Nobody was with J.K. Rowling except for her screaming child when she was, as a single mom, as she said, living off benefits. And when she was writing and doing the grind of Harry Potter and getting rejected. And then, when the bidding war stuff happens and the movie happens, to have people saying, we've got to remove her from this project. It's like, how dare you guys? Got to remove you from this project. It's, and I'm not even a massive Harry Potter fan, but I understand great works of fiction when I see them. I'm not an idiot. Well, depending on. Let's see here. Yeah, when you start with a lie as a foundation, they can only end in resentment of others. And I guess that's the thing I've been thinking about so much, because there's a character in Gabe's story, and I maybe I don't, I was gonna say maybe I overthink things, but I think that's academic, no pun intended at this point. But I was thinking about Gabe's character, Truth, and I was thinking about that concept of true, and I was thinking about Doc Savage and his whole speech about let us dedicate ourselves to what is true and what is right. And that's the kind of stuff that I think about a lot, that whole idea of, what does that mean? What is, and for me, sometimes that boils down to recognizing and figuring out what's your why. What is the why behind the things that you do? And for me, the why is my wife and kids. Art is a major why. God is a major why for me, which I've been sort of, it's been something I've really struggled with and worked with, and I've mentioned that to Gabe. It's a lot of things, guys, and I'm trying to find, I'm trying to focus on the light and the beauty more and more at this point. And Comicsgate has inspired me to do that. And everybody's got their different things it does, but that's one for me. Yeah, Dying Days of YouTube, so true. That's why metaverse is so subversive. We look at like what the fuck. No one wants a digital future. We want to work hard and have fun, but these people know only dopamine hits. Well, dopamine hits in control. I think a lot of people, their greatest fear is that other people are having fun, which to me is like a absolutely Lovecraftian or Faustian nightmare. John says, yeah, and hence the saying claptrap. Yeah, absolutely right. Hey, what's up, General Piggy? It's great to see you. Hail to you, my friend, and hail to the chat. Let's see here. Yes, hello, General Piggy. Says John, it's all sand and busted ass soul that's burning. Yeah, and to look in the mirror is worse than Dorian Gray. You're right. You can't. By the way, guys, how many great works? God, my mic is right there. You guys are probably getting your eardrums blown out. How many great works of fiction are there out there? There are so many great works of fiction. I was up last night. God, what was I listening to? An audiobook as I fell asleep. I mean, I was listening to, oh God, what's it called? Shoot. This was about a week ago. Oh my gosh, what is it? Oh, The House of Usher. I was listening to The House of Usher for the first time. And I mean, I've heard that book referenced, and I said, well, it's on YouTube. I could listen to an audiobook of it. And then I was listening to, let me grab my phone here because I want to make sure oh, nice. Hang on a second here. Oh, look at all these cool guys, man. People are cool. Gabe is texting me, my brother from another mother. It's always great to see. What was I going to, I was going to look up this book because I want to know if some of you guys have read this book. I had not read it or not heard it read like this. And I want to make sure I know what the name of it is. No. Hold on, I got to go back into my history. Sorry, guys. It's read by Christopher Lee for any of you Hammer horror fans. Oh, here it is. Oh, yes. I have read this book before, but I hadn't read it recently. I listened to Christopher Lee, and this is on YouTube, reading The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And every time I listen to that book, I'm like, dang, is that good? Yeah, greetings, John. Let's see here. Yes, General Piggy, Jeremy Burtz, General Piggy, hail my friends. Looks like it's going that way. Can't just look after each other and let lemmings follow each other over a transhumanist cliff. Yeah, exactly. There you go. There's a YouTube link there in the chat. Damn, I dropped it in the chat right when you said it. There you go. Nice. Yeah, it's up, General Piggy. John, no, reminds me of the admonition in James 1:24 about the person who looks in the mirror and quickly forgets what they have seen. Yeah, I think that's the real danger, and I think of all of it. But I think the real success and the thing we have to remind ourselves is to, though we can't see each other, and I know it's harder for you guys because I can do it, but I want to look at you guys and I want to smile. And I want to say, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for backing this book. This is a dream come true. You guys are amazing. You guys inspire me to make artwork. You inspire me to stream, even though I used to be, terrified. I'm still a little terrified of streaming. Was terrified when I went in to teach. Places like this and they remind me of going to the comic shop when I was a kid. They remind me of going to see Big Trouble in Little China in the theater. They remind me of that first time you saw somebody reading a comic book at school and you were like, hey, do you like comics? I mean, somewhat obvious. Cool. Do you read these comics? All that stuff, which is big. And I want to make sure that you guys are seeing the enthusiasm on our faces and that we're happy to be here. And this is a good place. It's tough. It's actually tough for me to smile sometimes and sincerely smile because it leaves you open and you feel like strange. And sometimes you look at yourself in the camera and you think, I look like a serial killer. But it is what it is, guys. It is what it is, and we gotta make sure we're sharing the positive stuff there because that's what's worth fighting for. That's what's worth fighting for. I meant can't change it, but can't avoid it. You're absolutely right, Jay Lee. Oh, we need to talk about Nosferatu, but one movie that will scare you, made back in the 1950s. Oh, yes, I know that movie with Vincent Price, is The Mask of the Red Death. The ending really scary. Love Vincent Price. One of my favorite rappers, going back to the Thriller days, but no, I mean, I love his stuff. I actually referenced him in the Undead Medley. I did a likeness of him that I think it was all right. It wasn't as good as it could have been. Oh, snap. I have heard of that one at Jay Lee. Yeah, absolutely. Or haven't heard of that one, is the correction. Jay Lee, is that the one where the devil sees if humanity is worth saving after the atomic bomb? There you go. There's a question for you. But yeah, I haven't seen that movie. And what was the thing? I was just thinking of something. We were talking about art, smiling, happiness, joy, blah, blah, blah. It'll come to me. It'll come to me at some point. But yeah, I mean, that's the... Oh, yes, I know what I was thinking of. Hang on a second here. That's what I was thinking of. There you go. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Love this quote. This is a C.S. Lewis quote. I love C.S. Lewis in his complexity, not as a plaster saint, as his biographer wrote, but as just an amazing creator of fiction, an incredible scholar. He is what I got into education to want to be like. And it is a shame that even in C.S. Lewis's time, he was penalized at Oxford for not thinking the right way. And never made a full-time faculty member there. And yeah, so I can relate to it. But here you go. This is the quote I love. And this is the quote when I'm thinking of all of you guys here in the Waffle Lodge hanging out. All right. Friendship is unnecessary. Let me put it on the screen. Friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art, like the universe itself. It has no survival value. Rather, it is one of those things which gives value to survival. And that is the one. That's what I love. And there is the, where is it? Oh, there's the link for Christopher Lee reading Dracula, which I would prefer to correct that to say that is a link to Dracula reading Dracula. Let's see here. Yeah, Jay Lee, it's on my list. Yeah, Jay Lee, you're giving us some stuff to get on our list, man, here. This is great stuff. Yes, it's where death comes to visit a sadist prince, and the prince welcomes him and kills people to buy his immortality, but death is not happy and kills everyone but two people. There you go. Absolutely. Beautiful. Yeah. C.S. Lewis is an inspiration. Yeah, I love C.S. Lewis. Yeah. C.S. Lewis is great. I've got a lot of his books, and he's been a big part of during the war. Unfortunately, they had to recycle all of the tapes, so there's very few of his radio recordings that survived. There is one that survived, but the thing that was interesting is they said that C.S. Lewis had this kind of port wine and was it port wine plum pudding voice, and I remember thinking that people really appreciated during that time, and I think that it can be for me. I love high fantasy. I love, horror. I have, if I have a female character in a nightgown, it's for some reason it tends to be, transparent, but selectively transparent, PG-13 transparent. And so it's an interesting thing for me, but I think that, I think you can be an artist and you can be very creative and you can push the envelope with your creativity. And at the same time, with all with how humanity is always dealing with all the various things going on, um, you can maybe try to, I try to find some time to offer people some escape, some escapism, as Tolkien said in its truest sense, like somebody getting out of a prison. And I think that that's an important thing, for us as human beings. We need that escape, and C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien have done much to offer us that escape. Let's see here. And at the end, the different colored deaths come to meet up after the night, and the red death is playing cards with a little girl, and she is as calm as can be. And he says he killed thousands. There you go. Awesome. Jeez. Let's see. And in the end, leaves the girl alone, and they all walk away. Away. She's the only one alive. There you have it. Wow. Nice. Love Vincent Price, but I missed that one. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out, Jaylee. That's on my list. Yeah. Oh, Vincent, and he could act a phone book, man. But Death takes his mask off. It's Price's face. Yeah. As always, support original release if you can. But here's the link to that. There you go. Yeah, it's funny. I have seen on occasion, I see movies for free, although I'm not someone who pirates a lot of movies or does all that stuff, to be honest. I probably come down on that a little bit like Ethan does. But this is the interesting thing. When I see a movie that is great, and this happens more often than not, I go and I buy it. I buy it on physical media. Sometimes I buy it on physical and digital media just so I can have it a few places. Because to me, it's like it's applauding the work. And I think it's important for whoever is running these, studios, in some cases into the ground, when the financial people come in to try to save them from oblivion, it's important that when they're going over the paperwork, they see the stuff that people like and want to buy. And if that means they go and take a look at, their back catalog, or if that means they go and take a look at Indiegogo and Comicsgate campaigns, and they say, again, as it seems like on some levels it's happening, why aren't we doing comics like this? Can someone explain to me why we're losing readership and these people are able to, in Shane Davis's case, and in Dan Frega's case, buying themselves houses and, finding a fan base, and what's it like if we don't alienate our customer base? Isn't that great? I think that's what's fantastic about Comicsgate. And if I can be a stream that somebody watches, while they're at work or while they're sitting at home and they're trying to wind down for the evening, and people are like, hey, cool, I want to back this book. I'm into this dude, which so many of you guys have, and thank you. Or I can help get the word out about stuff that I'm excited about and other people's campaigns, like Narwhal's campaign or Gabe's campaign. That's what it's about ultimately for me, man. That's what it's about. I want to be sure that, this life is hard enough, man. Life is hard enough without, just in general, without us making it harder than it has to be. And, to the people who are creating fiction and people who are creating escapism so that people can recharge. I'm not unrealistic. I know you guys have jobs, you have responsibilities, you have families in some cases. And I'm not naive enough to think that what you need from me is a lecture. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not our thing. And that's what I think is so great, about it being here. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm asking for a death. Same person, need to convert more people to comics. Yeah, I love this art form. And I would tell you this. I was talking about rejection letters I've gotten from editors and in-person rejections I've gotten during my comic book, career pursuit before I fell into freelance illustration and concept art. And the thing for me about it, when I look at it, was, when I look back on all of that stuff, is I didn't need art or comics to give me anything to love it. I loved it because I love art so much. I love other artists and what they do. I love creativity. I love like the fact that Rob Arnold is a writer, and I don't come at comics that way. I draw and then write. I don't write and then find artists and collaborate with them to visualize things. I think it's brilliant. I love to hear Eric Canetti talk about his process. I love to hear Michael Bancroft talk about his process. These are great people who are doing great stuff in this field, and they inspire me. And I just think, what room do you want to be in? Like when I look around my house and I see my Comicsgate books, this is the thing. I know full well that those Comicsgate books in the future, those first printings or those early editions when we were this small group of creators, I'm going to be able to, like, you know, grab those books off my shelf, and they're going to be like a time machine to this really great creative time we're all in right now. And isn't that fantastic? I mean, to me, that is so freaking great. And I do that with my old comics. That's why I think about those things. Yeah, that's a novel idea. Not hating your customers and abusing them. Yeah, it's true. Let's see here. Same person, true. Yep. Speaking of, oh, do you have a copy of Nosfero, my book? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. There is the link to my campaign, guys. And thank you guys for your support. Hey, folks. Hey, what's up, Noah? Good to see you, my friend. And I hope everything is well at MTM Comics. Let's see here. Everybody is saying hello, hello, hello. And that is what we do here. But you know what I mean? It's if we can create, you know, I'm always, you know, appreciative that anybody, you know, tunes into my streams and checks this stuff out. But at the end of the day, you know, for me, I would say I've got to make sure that I'm painting and doing these streams whenever I think I can. And trying to, you know, be present when I'm making my artwork, and say, if I can't work on, you know, if I'm feeling like my concentration isn't there to work on, you know, Nosfero at the moment, maybe I should do something that is just for the stream. And that's the stuff I've been experimenting with. I have so many friends in Comicsgate, whether it's Phil or Rob or you know, obviously Gabe, who we've just, you know, become fast friends, who genuinely are just really caring, motivated people. And mods, if we could get a link in the chat to Truth, Justice, American Way, I would greatly appreciate that, because I want to just make sure that I'm promoting those guys. Gary Martin is such a legendary inker. David Williams is just an incredible storyteller and character creator, and you know, has an incredibly you know, glittering career, as they say in British boxing, in the industry. And I think their book is worthy of note, you know, worthy of note. Yeah, Gabe is bringing the hammer. Absolutely. Let me make sure I catch up. Oh gosh, it just jumped. Hang on. Let's see here. Okay, got it. Jay Lee, I love my customers. Every one of them bought my book. I hope you love it and buy more. Absolutely. And I am one of your customers and proud to be one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody's saying hello. Yeah, it's going good. 2 days left on my campaign 60-day period and getting closer to 90 backers. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, let's drop Noah's link in the chat here, people. Oh, there it is. Good. You guys are too fast, man. Power J-Bot, seeing the process is my favorite part of CG. Yeah, absolutely, J-Bot. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And Noah will be telling stories of these times in CG to large crowds when we are but a memory. Gosh, I know, man. If there's any justice, I'll be a memory, you know. I don't know how long I'm going to live with my Slim Jim diet. Yes, absolutely. And at MTM Comics has a subs are you at? One of them. There you go, YouTube. Gabe bringing the hammer, always bringing the hammer, and great stuff coming out of Gabe and those guys. And our boy Zach's boy Narwhal, absolutely. Nosferatu, we got to love it. John, absolutely. Paul is here. Paul says there's more hope in crowdfunding independent art. Brandon Sanderson made 18 million in less than 3 days on Kickstarter. Traditional publishers must be shaking their boots. Yeah, they must be. And I have to tell you, you know, 18 million, it's okay. Wow, that's amazing. I love it, man. I love hearing about artists, you know, taking the reins of their careers. And, you know, it's just, I love it so much, because people tell us this isn't possible. This isn't possible. And I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. What we do is we say, yes, it is. It is absolutely possible for us to do this. You know? Oh, yeah, there you go. NTM Comics has 87 backers. Are you one of them? And here's the link. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be, it's already starting, but it's going to start fueling animation. It's going to start fueling more indie movies. It just is going to take people to do this very terrifying thing, which is put an idea out there. There is, I think, a very real and backed up by reality, confidence, and peace and safety in, getting onto a well-known IP, an established IP, going out and taking a risk, not just on your art ability or your writing ability, but on an IP is a little terrifying. And that's the thing about, that's what all of us in CG have in common, is that we're taking that risk. I mean, we were talking about it on Double Impact today about that, when we're saying like, why don't people just create their own stuff? And we're like, I was remembering like right before we, my family and I got together and, said a prayer and hit that launch button and fucked up my launch on side. See, I knew I couldn't go long without swearing. Damn it. Anyway, messed up the launch on Bancroft's channel. And the thing about it was that, but it was really important to us. But the thought in everybody's head is, what if nobody shows up? What if nobody backs this book? I was thinking about, what if it doesn't fund? It's easy once you're on the other side of it to say, oh, like people are like, oh, you knew it was going to, like everyone says, like, oh, no, I did not. If you had told me half of the things I saw happen in my previous job before they happened, they were all things I could have never foreseen. I could have never foreseen the level of lunacy that I would experience. And I could have never foreseen, frankly, the level of support and passion in Comicsgate until it happened. Could have never imagined it, ever. That's one of the greatest things in life, are the beautiful things you can't imagine, Oh my gosh. Yeah, look at that. We got great mods in this chat, Noah. We got great mods in this chat, and I'm happy to do it here, my friend. Just so you know. I've got my comic book, that I did. And actually, no, I don't think I've shown it on the stream, but I don't think I've shown it when you were on stream. Let me know if I have, but let's forget it. I've been streaming for a couple hours now, so I'm gonna boomer things up and let's see where it goes. You guys might hear me fall or books collapse on me at some point, and you'll be like, what do we do? That's what's gonna happen. All right, let's see what we got here. Not here, not here. Here we go. So let's have some fun here. Fun being a relative term here at the Waffle Lodge, and thank you guys for coming into the Waffle Lodge. I appreciate it. So, Noah, my friend, this is me when I was 14 years old. This is the first comic book that I ever drew and self-published. So when people say, have you ever published a comic before, or self-published a comic before, I obviously have self-published 2 art books in the last couple of years. But this is me in, 1992. And this is me influenced by Tim Vigil. This is me working in black and white. And I was a kid, so young. And these are my first comic book pages that I was doing at that time. And I was drawing on 11 by 14 paper. I didn't know what the right paper size was. You can see my McFarlane influences, my Tim Vigil influences, my very dodgy anatomy. Yeah, I love that. I'm sorry, I love this. It's all great, but I got to put this on stream there. Here lies Sean, buried beneath an avalanche of CG comic books. And by the way, and there's like my crowd scene attempts, and then here's my ode to Roadhouse, which was one of my favorite movies when I was 14. My horrific, overly insane anatomy, which makes no logical sense. This is me doing my monster horror crazy creature thing, and then Deathstalker, a name that I'm sure is trademarked and copywritten, but. And then this is some more artwork from when I was 14. These are my friends' D&D characters, and so this is what I would do. Like I'd draw everybody's D&D characters, and so this is me again, 14 years old, I guess it was. And then this is the cover of the book I did when I was 16. So this is what I was doing when I was 16 years old. Interestingly, it was in watercolor, and I never used watercolor before or after until I got there. And you can see all of the image stuff. Like all of the image stuff was thoroughly into what I was doing. and I just kept chipping away. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, just a webpage. Let me move this stuff back so I can see you guys here. Let's see here. Let's see. Wow. Here, lifestyle. That's amazing. Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you, by the way, Angela Curry. Jay Lee, drop your YouTube link in the chat for me. There you go. Paul, very nice. Oh, cool. Thank you. I don't have a YouTube channel yet. Okay, we'll get there, though. Every video I've made 100 or so before I was active in CG has a moment of doubt, whether it's 2-minute video or 15-minute video. I always go through a stage of telling myself it might suck. Yeah, I'm definitely there. Just a web page. There you go. No, Jay Lee, screw it. Finally took me to the right link to NU YouTube. There you go. There you are. Yes, yes, yes. Let's get these things moving, guys, because it's fun. Because this is, look, there's going to be people who are just like I was, just like you guys probably were at various points, who were like, where is everybody? We're all the same people. We're the people who keep, tank model kits. Because I ordered these from England for my son. These are official World of Tanks model kits here. Well loved. And I ordered these for my son. But I have these things here for reference on my desk. We're all those cool people. That's what's so important, Same person. Were your parents our teachers? No, they weren't. Actually, they weren't our teachers. I was a weirdo. I just sat there and drew. No one in my family was an artist anywhere. I just did it. And I will tell you, I mean this sincerely. I'm not saying this as a joke. Although it is kind of funny when I think about it. I had this kind of memory where I would remember a lot of things, and I was very much like, I don't know how to word this, but it's something I passed down to my kids. This year, my daughter taught herself how to play the guitar. Neither one of us knows how to play the guitar. We don't know anything about it. And she ended up being the support guitarist for some kid singing, was it that Tracy Chapman song, Driving in My Car? She'd never even heard that song in her life. And she learned how to play it. And we're listening to her play this relatively difficult song for someone who's only been playing the guitar for 6 months. And then my son taught himself how to use Blender and is doing his first pro job at 16. I just started drawing when I was a kid. It's how I thought, and I couldn't stop. I don't remember a time when I wasn't drawing. I had dyslexia. My writing was terrible. I struggled with writing, and I actually hand control, but I needed to draw. I had that long kind of like computer paper that's all connected and has the holes on either side that you would pull off. And I'd get that brought to me in stacks by the neighbors, and I would just draw and fill it. Don't know where that came from. Let's see here. What else we got here? Wow, that's my channel, but not much there. John, 9 Days of YouTube. I've always heard that when that nervousness goes away, that is when things tend to go bad. Yeah, that might be true. I believe Deathstalker was a name given to an actual serial killer. That's scary. At least as a title, copyright would be impossible. That is possible. Yeah, you're right. That's so cool to see your old comics. Yeah, no, let me tell you something, man. It's like, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. I have an interview of myself when I was 15. I have a TV interview of myself when I was 15, when I was drawing comics, and you can see how nervous I was at that age. Be the bumblebee. No one told him the laws of aerodynamics. Says the bumblebee can't fly. Even if someone didn't tell him, he would just fly anyway. Be the bumblebee. Or in my case, be the GBZ or the GBR1 or R2. I love those are made near us in, oh my gosh, where in Mass are those things built? It's, where in Massachusetts are those built? I know the name of it, and I'm totally blanking on it. But the Granville Brothers GBs, those things look like they should not fly, and I love that plane. I've fallen in love with it ever since The Rocketeer. Yes, my channel has my Corgi, very nice. When he was a puppy. I hope to figure out how to do stream soon. Very, very good. Yeah, there you go. What do you mean was a weirdo? When did you think that stopped? Oh, no. I mean, I was a weirdo, and I got weirder. That's what that means. There you go. Yeah, get on it. You got a fast car? I want to take it to anywhere. Yeah, it was like that. And it was weird to hear your kid singing a song that was you remember when you were a kid, and you go, that's hard to play for me, at least. I mean, I can't play the guitar, but I was watching her and I go, how the hell are you doing this stuff? Either tied to or during the time of, oh, wow, Night Stalker Richard Ramirez. Yeah, ooh. Yeah, Ethan for a while got me deep diving into serial killers because he was talking about it all the time. It never stops. It's the best way to live. You're absolutely right. Yeah, maybe so. Yep. Jonathan Jetty Art. How old am I again? I'm 45. I'm 45. Just turned 45 in September. Let's see here. John, did you write that? There you go. Let's see here. Yeah, I love that. Sorry, Angela. I just got that. That's freaking hilarious. You guys kill me. I gotta be alert with this chat. Wasn't Deathstalker also an 80s Barbarian series? I think it was. I think that's where I ended up seeing it eventually, with like a Boris Vallejo poster or something, I think. Angela Curry, just phrasing, the idea is from somewhere else. There you go. I am 5 years older than you at Jonathan Jetty Art. Oh, very cool. Nice. Yeah. My crew tends to be let me just see if I'm getting this right. Yeah, my crew has always tended to be slightly older than me. My studio mate and my best friend outside of my wife in the world. My wife is actually one of the youngest people I've ever dated in terms of comparison to me. She was 6 months younger than me. And everyone else I'd ever dated was older than me. But my best friend, my studio mate and artist brother, he just turned 60 this year. And so like my friends tend to be all around in that age range, interestingly enough. So I guess that's probably why I like Comicsgate so much. That's a part of it. We've got bigger age range. We go all the way down to 16, as you guys well know. Angela Curry at John Laugh Out. There you go. Yeah, well, it's the fun thing about it. I've always thought it was weird that people were clumped, and this is not mine, but this is not my quote, but it is kind of weird that people are always clumped together by manufacturing date. I think that when I was in school and when I've been out in the world, I've always enjoyed people based on what our interests are, our skill sets, and if I could learn something, or if they had some interesting information or a hobby that I didn't know anything about that I wanted to learn about. And I think that's probably why I like the Townsend's channel so much, because I can't cook to save my life, but I find 18th century cooking and then history of this country in the 18th century to be utterly fascinating, and I love it. And Jay Lee, that was actually one of the things that I really loved about when you were sharing about your own, personal history. I love hearing about that stuff. That stuff always fascinates me. That's what makes life fun. And you just never know, and if you're in this bubble where everybody is the exact same, and everybody has the same, amount of time on the planet, I just don't think it works very well. And obviously having two kids has broadens my perspective. I didn't know anything about I didn't know what an anime fan was like. Or not, I shouldn't say an anime fan because she likes certain things, but my daughter was telling me, have you heard of My Hero Academia? My friend's really into it and I really like it. I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard about that. Is B Rose here yet? He will be soon. And she started, of all the shows to get interested in, she's not the kind of person who ever liked scary stuff, but she got to a certain point, I think, where she was like, I want to see something that actually talks about life with consequences. And she got super hardcore into Attack on Titan. That fascinated me. That really fascinates me. So I learn from people from everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's cool. That's the fun thing of life. Yes, deep thinkers tend to prefer an older crowd. Yeah, I mean, I found that very oftentimes that whole still waters run deep thing has been true, and I've met a lot of really cool still waters people. If you like drinks during the 1700 and 1800s, I recommend books by David. If I like things, is that what you meant to say? Books by David Wandrich, or is that drinks? Does he write about drinks? It's very possible. Jay Lee, I am very lucky. My family is one of the most documented family in history. It's very cool. Absolutely fantastic. Hail some person. Jay Lee. Oh, talking anime, your daughter would pass out if she saw my anime collection. I have over 1,000 titles in my collection. Wow. Impressive. Tip of the hat. I don't have my hat on, but tip of the hat to you, sir. Let's see here. You've now summoned B Rose and repelled Mo Biggs. That's possible. You never know. I feel like with B Rose, it's like ringing a dinner bell. Hello, Power Up J-Bot says, have you watched Ippo boxing anime? I have not, but I'm sure it's good. They do great action stuff and fight stuff. It's so damn good. Have you dropped a like or sub yet, chat? That's a very good question. No. Not drinks like cocktails and punch. I figured that's what you were talking about. I actually don't drink, but I would absolutely try drinks, because I'm interested in things like that. In that context, yeah. It's not like it's just not my bag. It's I went out, I had not eaten all day, and I went out, my wife and I were celebrating a year late because it was tough without all the chaos of the vid. But we went to celebrate our 20th anniversary, and we're just like, we're going to go celebrate our anniversary. We went out to stay somewhere out by the water. And I hadn't eaten all day. And my wife goes, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, let's get some pina coladas, and because we're nerds. And let's get some pina coladas." And my wife had never been drunk before. She's one of those. She had this pina colada, and she was totally like happy, funny drunk. And I drank the pina colada on a empty stomach, and I think I was like pleasantly buzzed, which I rarely am. And it was like, 3 shots of rum I haven't drank in ages. And my tolerance was such that the next time I had a pina colada after I hadn't eaten, and it was late at night and I hadn't eaten in a while, I was like, not doing anything for me. So it is what it is, Dying days of YouTube, laugh out loud. One of the best horror animes ever is called Another. Yeah, horror animes are scary, man. Hello, some person. Absolutely. Hello, Jeremy Burtz. And John say, thanks, Austin Powers. There you go. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, that was something, man. That was absolutely something. But I just, I'm I'm curious as a cat. That's why my friends call me Whiskers. No, I'm curious about history. I love history. I love science. I love art. All of that stuff is, what I'm passionate about. There we go. That's something to use. And so that's what it's always going to drive me to do the work, to try to improve my stuff. Of course, outside of logo/branding, a title cannot be copyright. That's true. But being already out in the public domain, it is futile to otherwise prohibit you from using Death Stalker. Yeah, that's true. I guess you're right. But it's funny how you see people who are like, things are in the public domain, and there's those spite lawsuits by people with a claim, or people trying to, create nuisance suits, which is such a strange kind of concept. But yeah, I mean, to me, my character names, like Nosfero, are all about ridiculously, why did you name your character this? Apparently, is my strong suit. So let's see if we can get some of that grace into this line here. What a great and cool design this character is. I love when characters have that kind of that more animalistic foot, with that, it's the essentially the standing on the toes quality to it that I just love. I think it gives them this it's sort of like Amy Mullins. I don't know if you guys know her. She was a Paralympic model, and she's a Paralympic, a model, motivational speaker, double leg amputee, very beautiful woman. If you watch the show Stranger Things, she played Eleven's mother. She was sitting down, and even if she was standing up, you wouldn't have known that she's a double leg amputee below the knee. But just an incredible person. I remember seeing her running legs, and it inspired me and as a designer. And I still have the ID magazine. She was on the cover of the Industrial Design magazine. Wait, a title can't be copyrighted, but it can be trademarked. That's right. Yep. Did you know American Comics Company has a channel? There you go. No, that's okay. Neither did they. Drop a sub and get them to 20. There you go. Lawfare can bankrupt the most innocent of people. Yeah, they went after Dave Stevens. Marvel went after Dave Stevens because Jack Kirby had created some characters back in the day called the Three Rocketeers. And when Disney got the rights for the movie, they basically told Marvel, funny enough, when they weren't the same company, as Dave Stevens put it, do you want to step outside? And that lawsuit went away in a minute. So yeah, it is unfortunate, but they bled him of a lot of his Rocketeer profits, fighting that stupid nuisance suit just to be jerks. And there was they said it was creating confusion in the marketplace, which it wasn't, because nobody had ever heard of the damn. I mean, unless you're a Kirby fan, it's not like the Three Rocketeers, which was a total gag. Kirby just kind of coming up with something fun. It's not like, people were going, oh, I got that famous 3 Rocketeers, is why I thought I bought this comic. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's like anything they could do to make, a good, creative, amazing artist's life a living hell, they did. I think we should be thankful in CG that, frankly, they don't have that kind of power anymore, because I think that's what they would be doing if they did. Yeah, no. Says thank you so much. Getting it together. There you go, guys. That's how we do it. Little by little, we're gonna keep doing this. And you can watch it on YouTube for free. Just search Hayume. Is that no? Okay, I will. I absolutely will. Laugh out loud. Yeah, there you go. American Comics Company, keep up the good work and get out there. We believe in you. Isn't that nice? Look at this, guys. Yeah, worth paying forward right there. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, I mean, this is, look, guys, we can develop what we do here. We can develop our skills. This, we can continue to do what we're doing here and just keep raising the game and inspiring each other to do great work. And that's what's so cool about this. There are no guarantees ever of any success in anything. But if you want to try in an environment, whether it's art, sports, or whatever, the best thing in the world you can hope for is to find yourself in a meritocracy and to find yourself around people who do not belong to the crabs in a bucket mentality and aren't resentful. If you can get that even for a minute in your life, you've been fortunate. And I feel as though, very fortunate that I've gotten to find CG because, outside of Ethan knowing I did the videos and commissioning me to do a piece and finding out later that a lot of people in Comicsgate were, I still have a pretty big following on Instagram in terms of follower count. I don't know how many people are active, but finding out how many CG people were already following me there, and they were like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were Comicsgate." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm always in the chat. I'm back in books, but it is what it is." There you go, guys. That's how we're gonna get it done. Yeah, that's what happened to Bittersweet Symphony. Yeah, oh God, don't get me started. I'm a huge Richard Ashcroft fan. That was painful. Everyone was using samples, and most big companies were selling the rights to ditties, and it just happened. The keyboardist owned the tune millions. Yeah, absolutely. But Keith and Mick just returned their company, the Rolling Stones company, just returned the rights to Richard Ashcroft 2 years ago after a lot of years. So while he, obviously not going to get back royalties going forward, any release of Bittersweet Symphony, Richard Ashcroft gets the profits for. And that's really kind of a great thing that they didn't have to do, but it was great to see that happen for him, because that was to have your hit. And at that point they were being told, we won't if you don't give us the rights to this song, we're not going to let you put the album out. And they wanted their album to come out. So it's pretty amazing. People can do the right thing. It is possible for people to do the right thing. And sometimes when people go down a bad road of doing things that are awful or whatever, there's the idea that you can never change back or change to the good way of doing things is something that people who want to write people off, like cancel culture in that sense, they thrive on that. They thrive on digging up old material on people and saying, look, this person thought this once, so they can never change. It's amazing how that works. Yeah, there you go, guys. Lots of support and love there in the chat. Oh, wow, really? It's going to... yeah, they did. They gave Richard Ashcroft back the rights. Sean the Jedi Art, me and you are bros for life, man. So much in common. It's crazy. Hey, right on, man. I love Richard Ashcroft. I've got all of his albums. I've so many, Alone with Everybody is an album I've played a ton. Of course, Urban Hymns I have, but, it's one of those things to where every now and again, my wife, one time we were traveling, she's like, oh, I put some songs on here for you. I put one of your favorite songs on here on my iPod back in the early iPod days. And I was like, oh, really? What song did you put on there that I like? And she goes, oh, Richard Ashcroft, On a Beach. And I went, oh, damn good song. Yeah, she's a cool cat, and so is Richard. Yeah, Richard had a really great interview on this British channel called Noisy, and he really, what he said about art, what he said about having kids and all that stuff really resonated with me. He was just talking about, Kingsley Amos's famous quote, "The enemy of art is the pram in the hall," and he was talking about, how absurd he thought that quote was, and how, what music matters to him and everything like that. He was a good dude, man, and he is a good dude. Really pure soul. He's been married to his wife for, I don't know, decades now. She's in one of his most recent music videos where he's driving out to a beach, and when he gets there, she's seen at a distance because she doesn't want to live a public life. He's a cool cat, man. Gotta love him. Let's see here. Yeah, Let's see. Absolutely. Wow. There we go. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's love. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's like, the thing about it is that, yeah, she just, she knows I love that stuff. And she knows, for some reason, an Indian Austrian, Puerto Rican, born in Houston, raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee, feels like, and this is what people who try to divide us will never understand. Feels like that people from Manchester seem to understand how I think. Think about the world. There's something about people, whether they support City or United, that seem to get what I'm talking about. And maybe it's the way it was growing up in post-industry collapse, Chattanooga, Tennessee in the 80s and 90s. I mean, that's very well could be a part of it. I see those factories and things like that, and I think, all right, maybe that's part of it, but who knows? It's just, there's something about the wit and the way that you have to respond to idiocy that those guys know. It makes me laugh, but I love that stuff. Yeah. And I love the food. I've got the most right up the middle taste. It's ridiculous. It embarrasses you. I'd embarrass myself if I talked about it. Let's see here, John. I'm always impressed when famous people marry for life. Yeah, I mean, it's like I understand. Like I tell people this. It's like, marriage, I know is difficult, and I know, like, a lot of people, go through struggles. People change and things like that. But for me, when I met my wife, it's been a miracle. It's been, I view it as grace, and I feel very grateful for it. And we've been married for 22 years. We've seen each other go through so many different things, and I'm really grateful for it. And I feel also very lucky that that I fell in love with this thing called art. I just couldn't stop doing it, and I just think it's the best thing in the world. I love comics, and I never take a shot whenever Shant says the word Chattanooga. I will tell you, it is the weirdest place when people ask where you grew up to say. Like when I tell people where I was born in Houston, I don't know, people aren't as surprised by that. But when I tell them like I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, they're just like, what? What are you talking about? Like, because interestingly enough, almost everybody I've met has been through Chattanooga at some point, but not a lot of people from there, And, Coca-Cola, in honor of the Coca-Cola bottling company that started their factory that started there in Chattanooga. So good. But not for the teeth, body, liver, any of it. Absolutely dreadful. But, yeah. It's one of my worst habits. I got to work on myself. But, look at, and if I, let me just, let's talk art for a second here too. But one of my favorite things in the world to illustrate and do work with, actually, I forgot I have a light on this thing. Hang on. There we go. Does that do anything? Not really. One of my favorite things in the world to do. Yeah, there you go. Yes, I drink Coca-Cola as well. Yeah, guys, if I had a, Phil, if I had a last request for a meal, and I'm not even kidding, if I had a first request for a meal, for God's sake, it would be, I would love a tall glass of ice cold Coca-Cola and a country fried steak with white gravy. And you fools had me talking about that on a stream one time, and I actually looked up where the closest Cracker Barrel is. And I know it's not like the country fried steak I used to get at Po Folks or that I've had at various Southern cooking restaurants, but I will drive for country fried steak with white gravy. My goodness, is that my favorite meal? Like, my favorite meal with a bullet. Like, that is the absolute, like, far and away my favorite meal. If someone asks me, what is your favorite meal? Country fried steak with white gravy. Period. Full stop. I've watched videos of people cooking it, for God's sake, on YouTube. Like, that's a problem. Like, that's when you've officially, you got to start asking yourself some tough questions there at that point. When you're watching cooking videos of your favorite food, you can't get, oh man, it's rough. But you gotta have fun, man, in this world. If I find myself in the South or in Texas, one of the first things I'm going to be doing, because I've got family in Texas, is I got to get me out to a place and get some country fried steak. It is a very hard thing to come by in Rhode Island. Let me tell you, very difficult to come by. And certainly if you've grown up with some really great country fried steak, it's tough. You almost wish you hadn't known it, but better to have loved than lost. Let's see here. Zaid Comics, creating entertainment. Yeah, let's get some love over on Zaid Comics channel. Power Up J-Bot, you got to have one of those Cokes in the glass bottles. Oh, I have, from Mexican Yes, I have. I absolutely love that stuff. It's funny, though, the high fructose corn syrup has become such a part of my palate now, and I grew up on, obviously original formula, that it's weird. The sugar cane sometimes gives me a little bit of like the, chattery teeth, man. It's weird. I don't know. It's very, does Po Folks still exist? I don't think it does. I think I don't know if it does. It can exist many places, but that was a staple when I was growing up, man. Po Folks was, they had one of those pyramid games where it's like the triangle wooden thing with the white pegs you jump over in the waiting room. And God, they had oh gosh. If you want to know, I actually wrote a letter to Chili's when they discontinued the country fried steak and white gravy. That was my staple. That was my favorite. Oh, heartbroken when that was discontinued. I used to eat that every time we went to Chili's. I would go to Chili's just for that. Heartbroken. And give them some love for their In Demand The Lost pages. Absolutely. I can't wait to get my copy. The covers of apparently all that stuff they're at the printer. And you just got the proofs of the covers, I think. Phil, correct me if I'm wrong. Nope. I would take a large glass of iced Coca-Cola and a medium cooked Kobe beef steak. Why? Oh, man. We talk about food in the most glorious way here in Comicsgate. Yeah, Kobe beef steak with a sour cream and chives, large baked potato, and sweet corn on the cob. Hail J. Lee, my brother in beef. That probably sounds bad, but you know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Yeah, 100%. There you go. I miss, Portillo's cheeseburgers. The closest one is in Florida. I know how that is, man. I'm in Texas. Art is in Texas. Brett Booth is in Texas. Carrie Gamble is in Texas. Kelsey Shannon used to be in Texas. He's in Louisiana now, but close enough. Yeah. My brother-in-law is in Houston. So we were talking when some of the CG folks were talking about going down to Anime Matsuri. We were talking about, maybe we'll go and stay in Houston and visit my sister-in-law and do that. But I'm not sure yet. Logistics are a little bit crazy right now. And we'll just see how it goes. But that would be fun. I mean, we were there this past summer, the weekend after it. So we missed it just by a little. But then, it's like for that trip, we were going down there for my mother-in-law's birthday. And I wanted to see my nieces. And one of my nieces is very into art. So I wanted to make sure that, I was spending time with her and saying, hey, art, hey, it's cool. Not Art T-Bear, but, art in general. Let's see what we've got here. Power Up J-Bot. Yeah, butter steak sounds good. Oh, here's another one I gotta say. Let me see here. God, what was the one? What's a really good thing I like? Oh gosh, I remember I had a really great steak with béarnaise sauce. That was good. If we're talking steaks, I love me some steaks. Let's see here. We also talk about food at the worst time. Everything is closed. I know it's like an illness we have. I don't know. Yeah, just got the reprints in. That's right. I thought that was it, Phil. I couldn't remember. Let's see. Wow, I got to catch up. American Comics Company, marinate some cube steak in Tabasco herbs and buttermilk brine. The bread, then bread it and fry it tender and crispy. You won't eat someone else's anyways. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Let's see. Tommy, what's up? Good morning, my friend. Good morning. Tip of the glasses to you. It's good to see you. Let's see here. Jay Lee, I will be at the con in Arlington during Eastern weekend. Very cool. Yeah, there's some great cons. My mother-in-law was always telling me about that convention, and I would love to get out to see it. Got to do the Dallas thing at some point. Keep the chat lively and keep each other in our hearts and prayers as the world looks down a barrel. I'm out, have to perform for some kids at the home school co-op tomorrow on the banjo. Peace. Yeah, peace to you, my friend. And happy banjo playing, my friend. Happy banjo playing. John Power J-Bot, that makes it the best of times for those with a diet. Absolutely right. It's absolutely true. Hello, Tommy. Comics for everyone, says John. Yeah, man. That's what it's all about. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? Of all the things we could be, spending our time doing, I mean, this has got to be up there as one of the better ways to spend our time, talking about food and not talking about nonsense, And the fun thing about this character, the fun thing about Rob's character is that I don't draw a lot of weaponry in my stuff because I like the sort of sword and sorcery aspect of it. Although there was a period where the idea that became Nosfero, where he did have two guns. He was, kind of had that phantom shadow quality to him. But and it was interesting. But it was, I really wanted to put it in the old, the kind of time period of the Hammer horror films back in the day. And that was important, you know what I mean? Hey, Shoth and chat. Hey, Skip Edwards, how you doing, man? Doing well? Let's see here. I'm spending my time writing at the moment. That is a great way to spend your time, especially if we get more books on a purely selfish level. Let's get some books, We love them. I'm happy to pack some books. Yeah, hello, Skip Edwards. Everybody's saying, hey, Skip. And absolutely, John. Yeah, Jay Lee, another book. Yeah, you said what your word count was on your latest book, Jay Lee. I can't remember what it was, though, offhand. God, was it like 25? I forget what you said, but anyway. Duarte, it's good to see you, my friend. Hail Shoth. I'm choosing your stream over Ethan's. It's cozier. Yeah, Ethan streams. I love when Ethan streams, man. It's great. I'll have to catch the replay on that. We were streaming during Ethan's stream for Double Impact, which was, it's a lot of fun because you just kind of cut and loose. But yeah, hail Ethan and hail Duarte. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming in. Yes, John, the Steins 3. There you have it, folks. It's going to get more epic, more expansive. Check out the Steins. I have my copy of the Steins. Oh, cool. I just hit the 30,000 mark on Word. So you must have been at 25,000. Like I said, I have a decent memory, not the greatest memory. It used to be great when I was younger, and then I just stocked up full of things to put into my head. And let's see here. I'll use this for my hand thing. But for everybody who is not familiar with the book, this right here is the Steins by our very own Jay Lee. And this is the book 1 that I just picked up on Amazon. And here is the cover of it. And here you go. This is the synopsis of the book. And like I said, I mean, we're here to support free-thinking, independent creativity. That is what we're about, guys. That's what makes this so fun. Whatever people call it, some people call it, the maker movement in action figures and people making custom action figures. People call it, which I love that stuff. Guys, for those of you guys who don't know, and you should know, I did a stream with one of my really good friends who makes Star Trek fan. Hey, what's up? Rob, let me know if you want to come in. I'll send you the link, man. What's up? It is so great to see you. Yeah, and you should recognize this. Huh? Oh, hey, Rob, actually, since I've got you in the chat, could you do me a solid? You posted some turnaround sketches on the campaign for Replicator 3, but they're in perspective. I think they're prints. Could you send me those files to my Twitter so I could have them for reference? Because I am squinting and I don't want to open my comics and hold them while I paint because I'm worried about damaging them. and I'm a stickler for not getting the spine screwed up or getting any paint on them. If you could send that to me, that would be great. You have like the sketches and the headshot and stuff like that on him. I love that character. I'm having a lot of fun painting him. I'm currently waiting for notes on my first pages of artwork. Very nerve-wracking. Oh my God. Yeah, it is nerve-wracking. It is. At some point on one of these streams, I want to show you guys my rejection letters from Marvel and DC from back in the day. Yes, for Goliath, Rob. I'd love to get those. It's what I have is so low res. It's what you had. You had the two covers, and then you had these great sketches, a headshot, and then sort of a kind of body shot, torso, back view turn, and then of the gun on your campaign. If I could get those in decent resolution, if you could send them to my Twitter messages, that would be great. It would really help with the reference on this. Because I'm winging it a little bit anyway, but it would be nice to have the more, higher res files to work off of, so I wouldn't have to open up my comics. You can tell, guys, you can so tell that I'm a pathetic, lovingly pathetic comic nerd. Like, I remember the first time my wife opened up one of the graphic novels or comics I had, and she was turning the pages by doing the thumb slide. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where they like take it and they go whack, whack, for every page was just crinkling. And I was like, okay, all right, I need that comic back. Don't do that. It was so, she was so pretty though. So I let it happen for a while. It is what it is. Yeah, beautiful women are always a little bit more important, but sometimes that bagged and boarded comic that you brought off to college could be a little painful to watch. The future Mrs. Andretti demolish it. You know what I'm talking about. I've got a rejection letter from Jim Shooter. He thanked me for my... Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. That's huge. No! Lord Crackhead 33, right? Or are you talking about the comic book flipping? Yeah, that was some painful stuff. Painful stuff done. Thank you, Rob. Let me grab that stuff here, too. So, that's what I needed. Thanks, brother. That's absolutely what I needed. Great. Now I can get that on my desktop. Life has just gotten so much easier. Hail to Rob. Hail to Rob. We love Rob. Rob is got, probably one of my favorite people in the world to watch. And oh, by the way, guys, the CG team video, although I'm really pissed about Eric not getting what do you call it? Not getting monetized is really pissing me off. That is utterly, to me, that's just a disgusting bit of injustice, for lack of a better way of putting it. Thank you very much. I would love to see him get monetized, but that was a great stream you guys did. Really great. Yeah, pretty women can make you a little loopy. God knows she does still to this day. She is, she's awesome. And one of the best people I've ever met. And let's see here. John, g'day. Yeah, g'day indeed. Hiya, Jeremy at Lord Crackhead 33 says, skip AdWords. Some person, I am biased towards Christopher Lee. He was a relative of mine. Yeah, absolutely. And Christopher Lee, I mean, we all should be biased towards Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee's the man. Christopher Lee is awesome. I love, he was such a, I have to tell you this, hearing Christopher Lee, there's a bunch of audiobooks, a lot of the works of, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. I must be dying here. What is it? Oh, God. Edgar Allan Poe. That's embarrassing. There's a lot of Edgar Allan Poe books that Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee have read, and they are on YouTube. They're a joy to listen to. To those two gentlemen, it's like, it takes you to Hammer Horror. It takes you to classic literature. It's just so great to see them reading and talking about, their work or talk about those works. It's awesome. I love it. Big fan of both of those gents. They're amazing. Yeah. But my favorite two movies of his was The Mummy and The Man with the Golden Gun. Yeah, he was great as the Mummy. I really think what they did with the Mummy there was great. Although I will tell you, one of my other collecting obsessions is collecting NECA action figures of the Universal, well, in general, of American Werewolf in London. They just did a Dynamite figure, but in particular of the Universal monsters. And I am eagerly awaiting a Boris Karloff mummy figure. It's unfortunately or fortunately, he's in the wrapped mummy form, which he was only in for 5 minutes in that movie. But it is a beautiful Jack Pierce makeup. The late great Jack Pierce, who is responsible for Karloff's Frankenstein and so many the Wolfman, so many iconic characters. Love Universal. Love Carl Laemmle Sr. and Carl Laemmle Jr., the Universal folks who brought us those monsters. And they even get a shout out in Big Trouble in Little China. They say it was the funeral of Laemmle, which is a reference to Carl Laemmle and Universal. So yeah, Hail Perth Comics, how you skip. Let's see here. But my favorite 2 movies of his was Mummy and the Man with the Golden Gun. Yep, Mr. Scaramanga. And I have a story for you about Christopher Lee. Oh, do tell. Let's see here. Jay Lee, yes, especially when he taught Peter Jackson how a man who's been stabbed in the lungs acts. Yeah, that was something, man. That's a serious dude. I was told not to try for monetization till you have 10K subs. Interesting. Really? Well, that's something. I'm trying to remember it right, but he was in Italy and he was with his wife. They broke down and it was raining hard. So he told his wife he would get them some help. And so he walked for some ways. Let's see where this goes. I'm dying to see where this goes. I'm going to finish it. Then he turned into a bat. No, he didn't turn into a bat and fly somewhere. We got to wait for the rest of this story here. Yeah, Rob. Thank you, Rob, for the reference. Seriously, that's like gold right now. Because I've been working on this character without sort of flying blind with this character, and it's great to have this here to look at and to kind of get the sense. It's such a beautiful design, and Goliath is such a compelling character. I love how a lot of the character names you're seeing in CG are inspired by the Western canon, and obviously it's not like these things are not in comics, but it's hearing people talk about, like I was watching the stream earlier with Eric Canetti and on Rob's channel and with Michael, and hearing them talk about Gilgamesh and all of that sort of stuff, and talking about just the raw creativity of all that stuff is great. Tug said there really isn't a point till you can make a revenue for monetization. That's interesting. Yeah. I did actually did a drawing back in the day of Tug's that umbrella character for him, and I sent it to him and he tweeted it out. I did it under a pen name back in the day because because I was like, I didn't, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to remember why I did it under a pen name. What was the reasoning for that? Maybe, I think it was because it wasn't my character. It wasn't my style. I can't remember what. Oh, it was because it was an after Todd McFarlane piece. That's why. And everybody was doing those. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do the after Todd McFarlane Torment cover piece with my name on it, because it is what it is. But it was great. Oh, Irene is monetized. That's fantastic. Yeah, I was just on her stream earlier tonight. Sorry, let me go back. I want to get the story. So here we go. He saw a farmhouse and walked across the field, but he fell. Oh my God. He fell down in a ditch. So he was muddy and got to the house. And yes, it was at night. So he knocked on the door. Hold on. Now Lee knew how to speak Italian and told the man at the door what had happened about the car breaking down. And he needed to borrow a telephone to get some help. There we go. Let me catch up with the in-betweens here. Add. Okay, correction. Add. Tommy, yeah. Skip Edwards art. Even small amounts add up. So get monetized as soon as possible. Very good point. Jeremy Burt's. Irene's monetized. Oh, here we go. Now, Christopher Lee was 6'5". Amen. And the man opened the door and seeing him screamed, yelling, "It's him," and passed out. He must have thought it was the mummy with all that mud on him. Oh, my Lord. That is freaking hilarious. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. Oh, I love my friend Michael, who has a channel called The Choice Voice. If you want to hear somebody talk about Hammer horror films, who is a true passionate Hammer horror fan and a major Christopher Lee fan, Peter Cushing fan, although he loves Christopher Lee as well, and he loves their friendship that they had. do check out Michael over at The Choice Voice. He makes Star Trek fan films called about the Starship Valiant, and he lives in Oklahoma, and he just does it all for the love. I would love for him to do an indie film at some point so that he could crowdfund it and make it. But the guy, him and Brady, who does Blender 3D modeling work for him, they just, for the love of Trek, they pour their souls into it, you know. Jeremy Bird's laughing at that story. It's a great story. This happened during his run as Dracula. Oh, that is fantastic. You know, he never missed a beat. You know, his acting was always so stellar and so great. And I love it. You know, I love that about his work. You know, even his cameo, small cameo in what do you call it, in Sleepy Hollow, was so fantastic. You know, he just did such a great job, and to see him in a Hammer-inspired movie was just so great. Hold on, I'm going to move my window because I keep having to move things to see the reference material. So I got to make sure I can see this here. Gosh, let me see. Oh, there we go. I love the way that all the gears in this are designed too. It's a really cool character design. But yeah, I do love tech, and I do love even though I don't know how to paint the miniatures. I don't know. It's just I admire people who do it, but I can't do it myself. But and I know my best friend, of course, when I was growing up did. But I love Warhammer 40K, and I'm excited about some of those smaller pre-painted figures they're doing now. And I loved that Blender fan film that was done. I think it was in Blender. Boy, was that beautiful. That Warhammer 40K film. Gorgeous. Let's see. Stephen Rockwood said, what time is Narwhal on tomorrow? He's going to be coming on my show at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 3 o'clock Pacific where he is. We're going to be talking about Nosferatu. We may even watch and talk a little bit about Nosferatu while we watch it. All kinds of fun things planned. Should make for a hell of a stream. If you can't catch it live, obviously, you know, I'll have it up. I don't tend to pull my streams down. I haven't had a moment where I need to pull a stream down yet. Maybe in hindsight, I will disagree with that statement, but what are you going to do? You got to have fun. You got to make artwork. You got to do things. There we go. And we'll put that together. There we go. And so let me see here. Okay. Oh, here we go. Jay Lee. Now, let's see. Now, about the Mummy, if you watch it, the door he breaks through is real. Oh my gosh. It was supposed to be unlocked, but when he hit it, it was locked, and he I have a bad left shoulder, and whenever I hear about somebody separating their shoulder, it's awful. Yeah, and when you watch the movie, I'm guessing you can see it every time you see him in the movie where his arm is hanging down and he drags his foot is due to his arm is strapped down. Oh man, I tell you what, shoulder stuff, those injuries, I can feel. Still, when I remember times I've hurt my shoulder, this arm is really, really bad. It's really warped, and it rolls out easily. I can feel it in my molars. That pain, man. Ooh, that is some pain. But let's see here. Taking a look at the reference here in the tech. Cool. And then I'm going to have this kind of mark come up here, and then we've got this nice little kind of nice industrial design sort of curve there that then is. I used to look at a lot of military aircraft. I had this giant book. I wish I still had it. It got water damaged and I didn't even know my son was going to be an aviation fanatic and build 3D models. And the books you give away that you regret, that's a painful thing. It's up there with comics. But I used to look at aircraft when I did all my tech because I loved to design things inspired by the Harrier jump jet and things like that. That was always a fun thing for me. Loved that stuff. There we go. And I'll tell you what, you don't want to hurt your shoulders or your arms because we're having a lot of up and down weather in New England right now. And that stuff is like horrible on arthritis. If you've ever broke or dislocated anything, it's not fun. Oof, dislocated thumb. That's another groovy one. Oh yeah, jaw injuries are worse. What did you do to your jaw, Rob? Did you ever break your jaw? That is a nasty one. Yeah, breaking your hip is bad. Breaking your jaw is bad. I mean, not any of it's fun. Let's see here. Yeah. Now for Man with a Golden Gun story, the part of the movie where the red car does the roll jump, that's right, is 100% real, no special effects. Yeah, absolutely. That is crazy, the stuff they used to do with effects back then. Oh yeah, I have had a dislocated thumb. Yeah, oof, no fun. But stuntman who was able to drive the car did not show up, so the mechanic for all the cars did the jump on the first take. Holy cow! Yeah, that was some General Lee level stuff, man. And I do realize the the humor in saying that to you, Jay Lee. But yeah, I mean that was. I can do this. I had many a die-cast General Lee that's axles got broken out because of me attempting to recreate stuff from that show. My God. Yeah, I mean, that scene, that jump in there with that dude, that that comic relief guy who showed up in so many of the movies. That was great. That was a great sequence. And really crazy stunt, too. Really crazy stunt. There we go. And there we go. Yeah, I used to love illustrating and drawing mech stuff. It was just so fun. It wasn't the biggest part of the stuff that I did, but anytime I could, have like cables and a lot of gears and technology coming into a character, I always enjoyed that stuff. It was always fun. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Oh, oops, I missed some stuff. Do you know what the E stands for in Robert? In E stands for in Robert's name. I actually do not. That's really. I used to, but I don't now. Like I don't know what the J. I don't know what the J stands for in Thomas J. Jackson's name either. Now that I think about it, what did it stand for? That's really wild. Yeah, you got to let me know, Jay Lee. I actually don't remember. Because I used to. This is the stuff. Edward. Okay, wow. There you go. Yeah, I don't know what the J in Thomas J. Jackson's name stands for. Which is fascinating to me because I was super into Civil War history. And I think part of it has to do with I went to high school. The high school I went to was on Missionary Ridge. So, where one of the more famous battles of Chattanooga happened. And of course, with Lookout Mountain and Signal Mountain, there we had a lot of, battles. And of course, Chickamauga Battlefield, which was where I went to go. I went out to Chickamauga Battlefield, not only on school trips, but I went out to Chickamauga Battlefield to because there were no lights there to go see Halley's Comet. So I saw Halley's Comet out on Chickamauga Battlefield, just to give you a sense of my upbringing there. Fun times. There we go. Let me see here. Oh, hey, what's up, RB? RB in the chat. Everybody say hello to RB. Coming to you live from the West Coast. It's late there, man. It's 12:31. This reminds me of those days when I was a new dad and RB and I would talk into the night because I was doing, when you have twins, you kind of have to sleep in shifts with your partner. So I was doing the late nights. And so we had a lot of conversations back in the day, Edward. Now, here is something really interesting. If Washington would have become king of the U.S., guess who would be king today? Oh, gosh. Would that be you? That's what I want to know. Hi, RB, says Jeremy. Yes. Hail, RB and the Replicator. Yeah, absolutely. We love Rob. It's good to see him here, man. Always good to see Rob. He's on Bogan time. He's probably grabbing some dinner around about now, if I'm correct on my time. RB says, haha, I think I caught the end of your other stream and thought, there ain't no way he's doing another stream. Yeah, well, listen, I'm coming to the end of this stream. I can tell you that because I'm starting to feel it. But you know how it is. I have a tendency to keep on trucking when I can. Come to think of it, that's a really good point. Hang on a second, guys. I'm not going to turn the camera off because I think it'd be really funny if I were to collapse and fall over in the middle of the stream. I think it'd be great. Jay Lee, No, but Robert E. Lee the sixth. Wow, that is crazy. Also, Hail American Comics RB. Hello, all. There you go. All right, hang on there, guys. I got to grab myself something to drink, something to eat. We'll see about the food part of it. What do we got? Nothing good there. All right. Yeah, we'll do a coffee drink. That makes sense. Gosh, I got a tight workspace in here. Woo! Yeah, Robert was married to Washington's. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Robert was married to Washington's granddaughter. And if I'm not mistaken, right, that is why, isn't that where, oh my gosh, why Arlington, right? Wasn't that tied to it, that having the property on Arlington was tied to that marriage? I could be wrong, but let me know. I can't remember. Yeah, Robert was married to Washington's granddaughter. American Comics Company. Hey, Dying Days of YouTube. Always good to see you. Hello, RB, says John. There you go. Yeah, because I remember my Civil War history is actually really rusty. I wanted to do a steampunk. When I was in college, I came up with an idea for a steampunk Civil War story that was kind of like a sort of history meets fantasy and stuff like that. Yeah, Arlington, Virginia. I think I could be wrong. Jay Lee would have to chime in on that. I'm not an expert by any means in terms of history. I'm very rusty on it. But yeah, I believe that's why Arlington became the National Cemetery, if I'm not mistaken, is because when Robert E. Lee joined the Confederacy and all of that stuff, I think the decision was made to bury the dead in Arlington. But I could be wrong. I don't know how much of that is urban legend, or not urban legend, but lore. So we'd have to see. Jay Lee coming in here. Arlington National Cemetery is Robert and his wife's home, and it's their house that sits on the hill. There you go. There you go. Some people like to start the morning with a cup of coffee or with a coffee drink. And technically it's morning here. It's 3:35 a.m. So seems like a decent thing to do. But yeah, I mean, I love that kind of history. It's always interesting to me. It's a little more complicated, but close. There you go. I know. I had a feeling it was a little bit more complicated. And Skip Edwards is here. Hey, what's up, Skip Edwards? And saying hello to the Dying Days of YouTube. Yeah, guys, American history is so vast in scope and so fascinating. If you can avoid, recent history books and go back to some of the amazing stuff, that is why I love the Townsend's channel. They have books that are historical books of history, but they show books that were written at the time by the people from that time. And it is so weird to read some of these. I actually bought recently a journal of a seafaring man or something like that? But it's a nautical journal of a guy who worked on a ship back in the day, and it is a really mind-blowing book. It's so cool to see that stuff. And let's see what else I got to do here on this character. I can tell I'm fading here. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I love zooming in on the details and then having to ponder what I'm gonna do to make it half as cool as what the actual work looks like. Zayd Comics, I'm back. Don't worry, guys. Phil's back. It's 12:37. He can't believe I'm still streaming. Maybe, I don't know. WB Comics. There you go. Absolutely. What's it saying? Low battery for? There's no. Oh, probably because I bumped the thing. Let me move that. Hang on a second, guys. This thing is such a piece of junk here. Close. There we go. And we'll see what it does. See if it behaves itself. It's probably because I got up and I bumped the charging cable there. But we'll see how it goes. Low battery on your cam, Sean. Yeah, it's all right. There's low battery on the guy on the cam. Half of my knowledge of American history comes from this channel. There you go, right? There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. John, low battery on your cam. American history is ridiculous. How much is hidden? You don't leave much about learn much about anything until college. Pre-internet education. Yeah, absolutely. Jay Lee. Now, also, if you really want to read about the Lee who was the badass, you want to look up Richard Henry Lee is the guy who formed the U.S. and is the real father of the country. There you go. Excellent. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I love history books. I love history documentaries because I can watch them while I paint. And I find that it just gives me a richer context to to what's possible, like what's being done and things you wouldn't think about writing. I actually did not have a full understanding with my education of how brutal indentured servitude was and could be. I know that sounds incredibly naive and ridiculous to say, but it wasn't until I saw a historical reenactor who has done her research on indentured servitude. I learned about the collars, the metal collars indentured servants would have to wear. And them, if they ever removed their collar or were caught without their collar, other places. I mean, you see some stuff, and the portrait that's painted there of life of the people who settled this country. It's a miracle this country even could exist at all and survived so many of those early years, life was just so difficult here. And it is incredible. Suddenly I'm hearing that quote of Madeline Stowe from Last of the Mohicans. They do not live their life by your leave. They hack it out of the wilderness, bearing their children along the way. And I think that's pretty well. I just love Madeline Stowe, so there we are. What a classically beautiful woman she is. Let's see here. American history is ridiculous, blah, blah. Jay Lee. Now, also, if you want to look up Richard Henry Lee. Excellent, Jay Lee. Question, which day was the U.S. really formed on, and what document really formed the U.S.? I actually couldn't tell you that. All I know is that the Constitution was not really ratified till the 1780s. I forget what 1780s it was. And then, of course, the Declaration of Independence is the year that we celebrate our independence. But no, I don't know. Let me know. I love stuff like this. Yeah, I love history. I love U.S. history, especially. Boy, is it raining? God, the weather in New England's been nuts. So here's a little thing I always like to say too that is important. When you're drawing tech, for anybody who's curious, for any artists we have out there in the chat right now, the biggest thing I would advise anybody on when you're drawing tech is to really try to get into a zone where you're thinking about it. Not so much even as anatomy, but having its own anatomical structure in terms of how it works. Because I found that the hardest thing for me when I was first drawing tech was to think of it as parts instead of thinking of it working as a moving organism like you would with a car engine or a tank. Let me see here. Dying Days of YouTube. Until now, I thought that General Lee was, listen, I loved the General Lee. When I saw the first Blade movie, that's what I was going to show you guys. When I saw the first Blade movie and he was driving a Ford Charger, I was like, this is so cool. Let me see here. Was it Dodge Charger? God, I'm tired. Brain will work. Articles of Confederation, says John. Uh-oh. Here comes trouble. What's up?
What's up?
Oh, nothing much, man. We're just doing what we do here. We're just drawing, painting, we're rhyming and stealing.
I'm drawing too tonight, Sean.
Oh, yeah. How's it going, man?
It's okay. I haven't drawn in a while.
That was the dodgiest response I've ever seen. I was like, it was a legit question. Okay, so here we go to the date is July 2nd, 1776. Document is the Lee Resolution. The Declaration of Independence is July 4th, and it was a letter sent to the king. The Constitution is a document of laws. There you have it. That's right. Sean means when drawing tech, listen to the Tron Legacy. Oh, that's some cool stuff, though. I love that Tron Legacy soundtrack. Daft Punk, y'all. Hi, Phil, says Jeremy Burtz.
What's up?
Hi, Sean and Phil. Love the Dodge Charger. It was the Dodge Charger. I knew I got that wrong. PTP just got done. PTP raid. Hail PTP. I am going to be, by the way, which one of you guys in our last stream replied? Was it Teflon Ron? I'm trying to think of who replied. Told me that when you order the action figure, when you click on the action figure, it then gives you options of which figure you want. Thank you for that, because I am going to back that action figure. And I'm excited about that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. So tell me, what are you up to, Phil?
I worked today from
Mm-hmm.
3 p.m. to 11.
Nice.
And I got some writing done while I was working. I was
Very cool.
writing on my phone and Google
Oh, that's
Drive
awesome.
and sent that over to an editor because just to get a second set of eyes on it, some plotting stuff for an outline for the Lost Pages 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited
Oh,
about
yeah.
that, actually, because like when I'm writing, especially in the phase that I'm at now, like this kind of like plot outline, I'll do
Yeah.
bullet points, like
Mm-hmm.
in kind of like scenes or moments, or how would you say it, like beats of a
Yes.
like story beats, and this one I got fairly close to the end, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want someone else to look at this, and see what
Mm-hmm.
they would say if they, if things are organized correctly. So, but while I was doing that, um, going through it again to make it legible because
Yeah,
I'll
yeah, yeah.
stream of consciousness and kind of put some context in there for the editor so they know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And even just by doing that, I'm like, oh, I could add this and thought of something else and do this, and every time I look at it, it's just good to go over it again and again to see if anything else pops into your head with that kind of stuff. So did that at work today,
Nice, man.
and I've been listening to you, and my buddies were playing some games, so I hung out with them for a little bit.
Oh, that's sweet, man. Yeah, I tell you, man, these are good times, man. These are good times. It's crazy, it's nuts, but I really do think these are, I was hanging out with Gabe and we were doing double impact stream and talking comics and doing the commission for Narwhal, and then Gabe commissioned me to do a trailer for Truth Justice, and I'm just having a blast on that.
Yeah, I heard about
These
that.
are
That's awesome.
yeah, these are great times, man. Like we're doing things that are really fun to see and that I really believe in us doing. It's easy to get excited, about this work.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, I was having trouble with that script, and I'm like, oh, I could just hit up a buddy that I know is a good writer and
Mm-hmm.
does editing, and see if he would have any thoughts on what's going on with this. So, so much talent and
Isn't that
hardworking
nice?
people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you're surrounded by people who are highly skilled, it just raises everybody's game exponentially. You have these resources you can get to, and it's a real it's a real blessing, man, to have so many people who are just passionate about comics and fiction and fantasy, and who are really just generous in so many ways, with what we do, because we try to help each other out as much as we possibly can,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fun stuff, and then we can talk about nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
I've been having so many story ideas in my head for different stuff just pop in and out.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here, to quote Casablanca. Do you know that reference, Phil?
No.
Okay, so I say, whenever somebody states the obvious, it's one of my favorite memes. So in the movie,
I've heard you mention it before.
yeah, I say it all the time. So one of my favorite movie lines is that in the movie, Renault, who is the prefect of police in Casablanca, if I'm not mistaken, knows the place has got a gambling operation, knows it's illegal, and he goes, "This place is closed down immediately." And then and then he goes, "On what grounds?" And he says to his friend, he goes, "I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on here." And the very next minute, a guy comes up and goes, "You're winning, sir." He goes, "Oh, thank you very much." And so when you say I've been feeling really creative and coming up with a lot of ideas, it's my way of saying I have no doubt, and I'm not shocked that you're a fountain of creativity, my friend.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Tombstone when they're playing Pharaoh, and Bill goes up there and Ike's, law don't go around here, law dog.
Yeah.
Winner to the queen. Shut up, Ike.
Yeah, that, by the way, God, man, that gentleman can deliver a line. Shut up, Ike. He's got the best. I don't know. There's just something around the eyes. God, Val. Hail Val Kilmer, bless you.
All these stories. You, I think it was you that were, you're getting me wanting to research damn dirty commies for supervillains.
Hail Jay Lee. Yeah, guys, seriously, it is a generous reach around is always appreciated. Jeez. You guys are cracking me up. Yeah, Razor Fist got me to order the book The Red Decade, and it delves into, the Haymarket, thing and everything, Haymarket Massacre, whatever it was called, and the pipe bombs and the terrorism and all that stuff. Like, that stuff goes back a long time, and it's yeah, absolutely. Good night, John. It's one of those things where I look at this stuff and I go, this one of the great failings of fictional writing, in my opinion, in this country, is that we all by reflex go to the Nazis. And I think it's because of the efficacy of the Iron Curtain. I'm just guessing here. But what's really amazing, and what Razor Fist did a really great job with, is explaining how deep the history with this stuff goes. There's a rich history, particularly in Chicago, which is, and you talk about things like, you and I have talked about things on stream, so I consider this public, Phil. The Mask of the Red Death, and I was listening to to get inspired for doing the Truth, Justice, American Way trailer. I was listening to, and I did a 2.5D layered thing with one of the drawings. So I painted the different layers, and then I did a camera move just to give it a little bit of that pop. Cool. But I was listening to Theodore Roosevelt giving a lecture where he was talking about the danger of political extremism, but he talked about how our French brothers who embraced the what was it called? What was his term for it? It wasn't progressive, but it was like something, spirit, now find themselves in the grips of, the Red Terror. And so this has been such a huge political force for, disaster in the 20th century. And it's easily got as many horrifying and cool things that could be exploited for fiction. In fact, I think they did a very lazy ass job, with all due respect. And I hate to, most people struggle with talking about other people's work, but I think they just didn't do a really good job in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with that, exploiting that.
Yeah.
Because it's such a taboo thing in Hollywood to say, like, they almost have to lightly mock that people were ever concerned about this, even though it's still going on. And you just think, good for us. We could talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's totally ripe, for us to do stories about and get into. There's so many great books that the thing about the Red Decade as a book, which makes it so interesting, is it was written back in the day. So it's not a modern book about it. It's a book that was looking back on that period and talking about that period, but is from another time. It's almost like an eerily predictive or it's like, God, how long has this stuff been going on? Like, geez.
Right. And no, and I agree too, like using that aspect of stuff instead of, not Nazi fascism and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, they come from they both come from Marx, which few people know about too. I mean, the Wikipedia page.
Sure.
And so, it's the National Socialist Party. Like, it's all this stuff is connected. However, it's like, I don't wonder ever why we hate the Nazis. Do you know what I mean? I think it's absolutely disgraceful that people use that term so loosely. It's a disservice to everybody. But the thing is that there's narrative ground that is being left unused. And if Comicsgate has a real strength, it's our ability to talk about things that other people don't touch for purely, either ideological or lazy reasons. It's easier to not tell a new story. Someone should tell you that, Phil. But apparently,
No, I mean, and
you're
that's
hell bent.
that's the cool thing about like the period piece stuff, and the kind of the reason why I'm having so much fun writing the Masquerade is because he is set in the 30s, 40s, and I can, as far as I want to go with the character, I could. So I mean, there's stuff where I want to do that, like classic pulp stuff that seemingly was only touched in that time. With even with the Yellow Peril stuff, I think that stuff
what
is
was the one that Razorfist talks about, the one that was sort of like about communism and it was a red mask, or I forget what it was called, but
the Shadow, the Red Menace.
Yeah, the Shadow, that's what it was. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's he's gone up against some communist dirty communists. The Red Menace was kind of like the communist version of the Shadow. Like he was this guy cloaked in red, and he used to be a pilot just like the Shadow in a war, but working for the Soviets.
It's so cool, that think about how I would love, it would be easier for everyone, frankly, who are critics of CG, if we were, and frankly, it'd probably be easier for us if we were just idiot, Arrested Development comic nostalgics. But sadly, our conversations are far more educated and rich in depth than any of their Twitter threads can possibly comprehend. And I was listening to, and I could barely, it wasn't long. But I won't even mention the person's name, but Ethan's, e-fapping of a particular person's YouTube appearance.
Sure.
And it was so easy to reduce down to an abusive middle school boyfriend, and, I'm concerned about you because they're all going to laugh at you. Like, it was like Carrie's mom, for God's sake, talking to you. And I'm like they're all going to laugh at you. And it's like, the hell, man, this is some really thin, manipulation here. Whereas we're just trying to do cool stuff. That's it. It ain't like they can't even grasp that. So when we say, oh, we want to talk about communists as villains, and it's kind of like, oh, there you are. I'm like, no, you don't understand, dummy. One, read some history, learn about the Khmer Rouge, learn about, the history of this stuff and how it works, but also recognize that unlike them, we don't stop at this is bad in our stuff. We want to go into, when we write our stuff, one, this is pulp, this is entertaining, or this is comics. But if we can bring it somewhere deeper, we want to make sure that you're walking away with it with a look at a particular corner of history that the mainstream either won't touch or doesn't have the knowledge of to do anything with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, those are the conversations that we have that fuels what makes Comicsgate great, is a lot of us just sitting there talking and shooting the bull and going, what if? That is the the driving force. What if?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah,
what if?
I've been having
Go
fun
ahead.
with that stuff. Now, I've been having fun with that, just as like a side project thing for the future with, ideas.
I mean, my favorite what if in Comicsgate is, what if Dale Keown drew everything? No, that's one of my favorite. Oh man,
that could happen.
Yeah. Oh man, that he's got a different gear. I love it.
Yeah,
thank God. Yeah, I mean, it's like, if there's one thing I love, it's that we're getting such new, cool Dale Keown artwork out of, Comicsgate, out of Ethan, out of Cyberpunk.
seeing his old stuff, like his old Hulk, the covers, and just I mean, and back then he's a premier artist,
Yeah.
and just seeing how much he's dialed that up, made it modern and just like nothing else anyone's doing.
Yeah.
With all just the pencil rendering he does on these.
Virtuoso comes to mind as a word, right?
Yeah, dude, it is. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. He's as I used to tell my art school students back in the day when I was giving them critiques, I would show an artist and sometimes I would say, this is living proof that if there's a God, when he hands out talent, he does not do so equally.
Yeah.
and Dale's just got fire in his hand, and you can't. I mean, you can look at old work, you can see people's artistic evolution, but it does not. It's not going to explain, where that moment comes from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Sure. Here. I'm definitely inspired to examine communist and communistic philosophies in my future work. Living in a communist country gave me an inside scoop. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. To the effect it has to the psyche of a society. Yeah, and it really is, what happens what are you able to do, and what happens when, you achieve victory over the individual, when the individual is only allowed and can only see themselves as a part of the collective. I mean, we're seeing what happens with that here on a smaller level, and hopefully it it doesn't, continue to expand. But there's this bizarre kind. It's almost it's something that is so strange because it's been held at bay, except for, I would say, on certain social media platforms and on certain campuses, that people really haven't ever been able to take it to the logical next step. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where does this? It's like protecting a kid from, and you see a lot of parents do this. They don't want to let their kid ever fall or stumble. They catch them every time they fall. And the first time these kids start to really fall, they just go down. You're like, you don't even know how to regain you just like, you trip or a little bit and you just go straight to the ground because you've never learned how to regain your balance. Right. And sometimes I think that it's important for people to, have this experiment play out for themselves. Like no amount of talking about it seems to work. They have to bankrupt their business. They have to do whatever they have to do if they can get it then. And I think that, the insidious nature of it, there was always those stories, whether it was, about, the urban myth about Errol Flynn being a secret, Yahtzee agent or whatever, and all that stuff. But there were was actually going on here, with communism, and that, and have you read any of Razor Fist's fiction? I have not.
No.
I would love to if you ever do, I would love to get your take on it.
I actually super chatted him a few months ago asking him if he would ever adapt his pulp stuff into comics, and maybe crowdfund it or do something with CG. And he said that he had been approached by a publishing company to do that, and that may be in the process of happening.
That would be great. Yeah. He's just an interesting guy, and I'd be very curious to see his fiction. Does he write under Razor Fist, or does he have an actual author's name?
I think he uses his real name.
Oh, what is his real name?
I don't know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I feel like I need it to be by Razor Fist. It's like Cecil's face, man. It's like, I like the mystery. I love how Cecil goes, I've accidentally revealed my face before, but nobody wants to go back and watch it or see it. No. It's out there, I agree. Because it's all part of the fun of it, It's like, it feels off, But yeah, I think that we're in a very, likely golden age of fiction. And that is, comic book, pulp fiction, comic book fiction. I really am feeling it lately, man.
Yeah, no, same. And it kind of works perfect too. If you do with the whole, actor side of Hollywood, thing, like Red Scare thing, because the Masquerade is a theater actor.
Yeah.
That's
you know how I feel about that character.
So
yeah, I love that character, and it's so funny because when we were talking with Dan Lawless the other night too, Hail Dan, and he was talking about like all of his influences and the stuff that he loves. I was just like going, I have been waiting for you morons my entire life. Where have you been? Where have you been? The people I hoped to meet when I was, and I had some cool friends growing up in Tennessee. I don't want to lie. Like those people were gold to me. Chattanooga, baby. Take a drink. No, but you don't take a drink, by the way. You take a drank.
Oh, okay.
You can't drink when we talk about Chattanooga. You got to drink. But the thing about it is I was just looking for wherever those damn canvases went. But when I was painting the Masquerade, the thing about it for me that was really, I mean, it's the same thing. Like I talk about listening to Roosevelt when I'm editing, the trailer for Gabe. When I was painting the Masquerade, I'm sitting here watching Phantom of the Opera, obviously, with Lon Chaney Sr. I'm watching a little bit of because I own the comic the silent movie that was the inspiration for the original Phantom, which is The Black Pirate, starring Douglas Fairbanks Sr.
Oh, cool.
I watch all that stuff, and it was actually shot 2-color, which people don't realize. It was shot with green and red at the same time, so that there's this illusion of color to it. So it's not a black and white; it's actually a 2-color thing. Hang on a second. I want to see if I can find that.
That's crazy.
I haven't seen it in a bit, and I don't want it to get trapped under something.
I never heard of that.
In my house. Let me see here. God, I hope it didn't fall back there. No.
I'm using ballpoint pens to draw, and I ran out of my black ones. So I'm using a blue one now.
Oh, cool. I would sketch out in blue. Do you like working in blue?
No.
Or no?
Yeah, this is much more inky, this one. I do like this.
Yeah. Oh, cool, man. Nice. Where the hell did I put all this stuff? Good Lord. I have a little bit of art here. Of course, my kids must have stacked up all my paintings. Phil, I don't want you to imagine what happens when paintings are in my studio space. I think it would make you nervous. But yeah, man, this has got to be one of my favorite things I've done, man. It's fun. I have no idea.
It's my favorite thing you've done.
That's right. Figures, man. But yeah, there's a few things I may do to it at some point, to get it where it needs to go. Yeah. But I mean, I love the character. It's when I try to think of how to convey to somebody, a fellow creator, like, oh, I love that. I get that. This is the best way I know how to do it. Is making art.
It, man. It's
you know what I mean?
Amazing. I can't wait to publish more of that character. And I was just thinking today, I'm like, dude, if I could just
never sleep.
Yeah, if I could never.
That's what I was thinking about.
Everything out. But also, like, if I had to only choose one thing to just publish and keep doing it, it'd probably be the Masquerade.
You know what the problem with that is? You've created too many characters that people are into.
I know. That was a concern, but
yeah,
I think we're finding spaces for all of them. Yeah,
you are, and there's a richness of the world that comes from the way those characters are are contextualized within the Lost Pages. You know what I mean? I think the Lost Pages as a concept, as an anthology concept, is a stroke of genius. I really think it's great.
Thanks, man. I was thinking about this, where trying to keep it so we're still building those foundations for these characters, but at the same time, it's leading up to kind of like an event where they're going to meet, and that's going to be the payoff. So, and how those characters will interact with each other and going forward, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Isn't it? I mean, this is the thing I love about comics. Scope is doable. It's an act of sheer will, of creativity, of certainly finding your talent that you need to do X, Y, and Z. But it really is. Did you see that brilliant? I'm worried we get copyright struck if I play it because it was on another YouTube channel. But it was of Kevin Grievous talking about. He was doing an interview, and they said, "What advice would you give to your younger self?" And he gave the same advice that legendary graphic designer and Hitchcock collaborator Saul Bass gave to art school students. He said, "I would tell myself to learn to draw," and I was like, what? Like, you wouldn't tell yourself, hey, you're going to be a werewolf in the Underworld movies and a writing god? Like, I mean, and he explained the learning curve for it. He explained all this stuff, but it was a really fascinating thing. He goes, I don't care. He goes, if you're 20, if you're whatever age, start the process. It's never too late to learn how to draw. And I was thinking to myself, what?
You agree with that?
Well, yeah, if I'm teaching somebody, absolutely.
Yeah,
seriously, with like I don't have a single doubt after 18 years in art education. But what I would also say is, and this is the part that will be hard to believe, if you give me somebody that's Kevin's age, and I have no idea how old he is because he's one of those people like Graham that's about body negativity for others, but well, one of the things I would say is Graham doesn't go to the gym. Graham is the gym. But it's That's
right.
But what I would say is that I would say I can teach anybody to paint faster than you can teach them to draw. That's what people would never believe, but it's true. I did it for 18 years, and it's like, and people are like, "But you don't understand. I can't paint." I was like, no, I'm aware. I couldn't paint either when I was in college, which people don't believe. I learned, and I didn't learn in college per se. I was self-taught. Yeah. Oh, Sean, move the drawing to the right. Sorry. I got to move the camera to the left, but you're right. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Sorry about that, gang. Move that up, and that should be better.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's more than a chance. Yeah. I would love to do a stream like that because someone was talking to me about teaching, and I was like, I've been really, leaving that profession, something that people who love teaching are weird because it is such, I don't want to say it's a thankless job. It's a grueling job because you teach the same material year after year, and your progress with one student has nothing to do with your progress with another student. You teach freshmen every single year. They're at the same place. No matter how well you taught the last class, you've got to teach this new class from scratch, right?
Right.
And so if you love that, what you realize is all of these skills and this art that we develop and we know, these things are beautiful. They're passed down, and you can't take them with you. And it's knowing that you're in service of art when you're doing it is massive. And I always believe that. SDA, thank you so much for letting me know about that, by the way. I believe that I'm serving these traditions that get passed down, and it's humbling, And so, if you ever want to do a live stream where we go over art and things like that and talk art, I'd be happy to do it, man. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I get into little grooves where I want to draw. Like I've been wanting to draw Justice from Gabe's book.
Yeah.
Because he's such a cool character. I really like the look, kind of like Dreadish helmet. I really like the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Of the character.
I would be teaching you how to paint, though. That's the thing that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I would be teaching you how to paint, and I would be we would be doing things like I would be, we could look at when you talk about, I would love to paint. It kind of looks like Dread. And I'm like going, cool. Yeah, I'd be talking to you and helping you break down what's going on in Judgment on Gotham.
Oh, yeah,
and
awesome.
having you do like, talking to you about how to do a master copy, how to approach those things. I've been doing that stuff. Like I taught one of my proudest teaching accomplishments. And actually, I'll share the link with you. Hang on a second. I'm going to put this, actually, I'll share it, not the link. I'm going to show it on screen. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Go to Instagram. Good Lord. And then we're going to go to, this is it. What was her? And I gotta just make sure I can find. Is this? That's not it. I always forget how to spell. Oh, there it is. I always forget how to spell her name. But I want to see. Is that her stuff? No, that can't be her stuff. No, that's not her. But it's another person like her.
It's a student of yours?
This is a former student of mine, yeah. And this is the thing about it. She was told, wait a second, is this her selfie page? Where's your art page, kid? Art account. Okay, no, that is her stuff. Wow, she's doing stuff in digital now and traditional. So that was her stuff. Holy cow. All righty. So let me scroll back. This is one of my, like, this is the bar. Like, you can see, I always say you can see her before Shanth and after Shanth.
Yeah.
On, like, what it's like. And this is one of my favorite stories of teaching. Actually, good. There's a piece before Shanth. There we go. So now let me go to file. God, I hate being an old boomer. Share screen, and then we go to Chrome tab, and then we're going to go here. Bully Studio. There you go. Share. All right. You see this? I got to share it. Hold on. God, I love it. I love being an old idiot. Let's see here. Add to stream. There you go. So this right here is before Shanth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. She had a real concern about her art that she told me when she first started learning from me. She goes, she said to me, Shanth, I'm concerned that this class is about color. And I said, well, it is. And I need to tell you something that I haven't told any of my art teachers. I just found out last year. And I said, what is it? She goes, and this is very rare, I am yellow-blue colorblind. Which means I cannot, nor have I ever seen in my life, the colors yellow and blue. When I look at the sky and someone says, isn't that a beautiful blue sky? I see the color green and I say, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because I can't see, I can only see red and green. And she goes, and she said, and I said, so why don't you tell teachers this? This strikes me as being somewhat important.
Yeah.
And she goes, because I'm worried they're going to give up on me and tell me to paint in black and white, and they won't critique me as hard. And I said, well, in that case, my dear friend, you've walked into the right room. Because I don't do easy. I do learn or die. And so I got an app on my phone that allowed me to see the world with her kind of color blindness. I researched all weekend in real time. Yeah. And I figured out how to explain things to her. It was rocky for about a couple of weeks. Then I explained to her the Zorn palette. This is one of her first master copies. There's a master copy on her desk. I chose that in particular because it's a nightmare of yellow, blue, green, and red. There's some hand paintings. Here's an attempt at an experiment. There's a self-portrait that she started doing. And as time went on, there's some industrial design. Here's the learning curve. Some more growth. Some more. That's all in acrylic. More paint. That's another master copy from a black and white photograph. This is the jump of someone actually teaching you how painting works. She knows how to play the harp, and that's her painting on a harp with a muka tattoo.
That's
God
cool.
Bless her. And then there's the harp she painted. And then let's see. There's her growth. Then there's some more of her paintings. She basically called me up one time, or she sent me an email, and she goes, I just wanted to let you know. Oh, there's her playing. Let me see if I can do sound on this. I don't know if I can share audio. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
This is her playing the piano.
Okay.
When it comes to color theory, talent beats hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And she cannot see some of the colors. And she even painted me a painting in only yellow and blue on a pumpkin or a squash for Halloween. When there was a student, super sweet kid. There's her setting up her senior show where she painted on a piano. And then she went on painting on instruments. There's a hand that she did. She went on to do master copies and studies as a portrait from the Well Digger's Daughter film. There's her interacting with nature. She loves animals, deer, bird. And she went on to, she sent me a message and she said, just wanted to let you know there's a plein air painting competition. And I won first prize. I said, that's right, you did. Go get them. We killing is our business, and business is good, And I've been teaching people. That got to be one of the most challenging things ever is teaching somebody who can't see something what it is. There she is. There you go. Plein Air Award. Yeah. What did she get? What award? Oh, with the Judge's Choice Award.
Nice.
Because we go out there and we get it. That's what we do. And that's what I loved about teaching. That's the thing that was so enjoyable about it, is watching. And there are so many students that I've had that, look, that's a damn good car in acrylic. Holy cow.
That's awesome.
But this is the thing about it. Part of the thing that I loved and enjoyed about teaching is showing people that why'd you bring Phil on? You'd have a better conversation by yourself. Fucking hell. No, I wouldn't have a conversation. When I have conversations with myself, that's when it's time to call the hospital. But let me say this, is that I want people to legitimately believe that I am deadly serious when I say if somebody has the drive. Like when I heard Kevin Grievous say that, I was thinking to myself, Graham, I know this sounds insane. Put me in touch with Kevin Grievous, and I will teach him. At least I can teach him how to paint. I know I can teach him how to paint.
Yeah.
And, it's like I can break down things with my paint set that I use costs for the whole set, not the tube of white gouache, costs $25. If someone invests in, and totally doable. I know that if you would just take a break from playing those videos games, no, I'm kidding, those pinballs. But no, if you picked up a set of Pelican Pan opaque watercolors, a tube of white gouache, and one or two brushes that I use, I could teach you how to do illustrative painting. And it would probably take, off and on working. If we worked once a week with a homework assignment, it would take me probably, it'd probably take me about 4 months to get your legs under you. And, a year to get you proficient. That's just the way it is. It's how it's always been. And I've been doing it for ages. And it's a funny thing because it's like learning another language or learning another skill.
Sure.
It's like you have to, like, I practice what I preach, man. I started learning the violin a year ago. And I pick it up and I can, by ear now, I can hear music and kind of figure out how to play it. And it's awesome. Like, dude.
Where else are you going to find, like, there's so many, without TG, I wouldn't have met you or anyone else that is so passionate about this stuff, so motivated to put kick-ass stuff out. And it's like I was saying before, like I could just go to anybody now if I think of something that I need help with and I need to get done, that I need done as soon as possible because I'm on a time crunch or whatever. It's so, everything is so fertile over here,
Yeah. And people have to understand, I was making a good, not an exceptional living, but a good living as a full-time college professor that took me 13 years, no health insurance, salary that a former student of mine at a college that charges $60,000 a year said when he heard it, he goes, "I feel like I'm going to throw up." That was the response he had.
Yeah.
Cecil saw a man's butt on a girl's butt stream and had to cut it to relieve himself. There you go. There you have it. It's it's one of those things to where to get me out of that field that I loved teaching, and I still probably do. My wife talks to me about that all the time. They had to break my heart and dedicate themselves to teaching racism. It's
Yeah.
the one thing I will never be a part of in my life. But the skills are still there without a doubt. I was a natural teacher before I got the master's degree, before I got the college teaching job.
Mhm.
I went into one of the considered at the time outside of Yale, the most elite visual arts college in the country when I was 20. How old was I? No, 29 maybe. I can't remember anymore. I might actually know. What am I saying? I was 26. And I had the most popular class and the most growth in students. Former students of mine have worked on everything that you can imagine. And but I would argue that in a lot of cases, again, I think that there's so much to them, but I was not, and then I went to a smaller art school that had absolutely no rep because of the same shit C.S. Lewis faced in Oxford, although I'm no C.S. Lewis, and where I was teaching was no Oxford, as much as prestigious an art school as I think it is. But I went up to a smaller college, and I was like, what is that? My favorite quote of all time. It's my CG quote, actually. It's my quote for everything. When I went up to the college, it's why I have a painting of him in my office here, but let me see if I can find it. Is the quote from Lawrence of Arabia. "I cannot fiddle, but I can make a great state from a little city." From Themistocles, a Greek general, I believe it was. And I always have said, if you put me in an environment where I'm free to be creative, I can make a sense of culture anywhere. And even though they completely undid it with their, diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff, I made that college a center. I got famous friends of mine who I know to come and visit the school to build buzz. And I skilled them up to the point to where there were students who were getting jobs that paid off their loans inside of 2 or 3 years. That was the goal. I had a student who went from Dunkin' Donuts to junior art director to assistant art director to senior art director within a couple of years and paid off her loans.
That's kick-ass, man.
That's why I do it, man. It's like, and now I'm here because I don't want to. Here's the best way I could put it. The reason why I'm here is because while I wanted to be a teacher, I did not want to be anybody's daddy and the repository for people's daddy issues. It's not my interest. I want to be around people who want to learn art and take this shit seriously and write stories and take this shit seriously. And we do here. It's like, it's more than just teaching perspective. It's teaching, hopefully teaching a little bit of perspective by understanding art history and that kind of thing. But it's about giving people a shot if they have enough talent, and enough is the key. I've learned that competent, hardworking people have much better career prospects than people who have natural talent. Oftentimes, natural talent if you've got hard work and natural talent, you cannot be defeated, period, full stop. Del Keown. And, but the thing about that is that competency and industriousness is such an essential quality to improvement and a career. It's what I would bet on if I was looking at a group of students. And so I see it as this opportunity to give economic mobility to people. Leapfrogging. I mean, my son is making more than an adjunct professor. If he were to work 5 days a week, he'd be making more than an adjunct faculty member at a prestigious art college.
That's awesome.
He's 16 and he's working in gaming. What did I teach him? Fuck all. Other than how to say yes and thank you. And then his natural drive, I put him in front of Blender. I knew what to put him in front of. I put him in front of Blender Guru. That's a particular thing. He works hard. He does his shit. But I find with teaching painting and drawing, most people with work ethic benefit from having someone to talk to about art. And hail, Mortal V. I just saw you in here. Good to see you, Mortal V. And thank you for letting us know how Cecil's doing. How I feel like it's like, what if France? What of Cecil? During the whole Chaz debacle in Seattle or Portland, I'm sorry, was it Portland?
Chaz Bono, right?
No, not yeah, no. Do you remember the Chaz, the chop, the thing there, right? I would, whenever my friend would call me, I would pick up the phone and go, "What news of Chaz?" Just to crack him up.
Yeah, I think Narwhal was living there for a little bit.
Oh man, Narwhal. Yeah, when he's on the show tomorrow, I don't know if we'll veer into Chaz territory. But he was at Evergreen, which is the epicenter of clusterfuckery in academia. I mean, it was yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that's Comicsgate is a place where if you have skill, creativity, you're hungry, you know how to respect the fans, people are willing to share knowledge as long as you if you want to work, you've got to make your success and make enough success to where people go, okay, you're not just waiting for somebody to swoop in and do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you need with students or anybody who wants to learn. And I subscribe to the or ascribe to, I guess you say, to the Bruce Lee school of I'll teach whoever wants to learn, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can anybody who wants to learn how to paint or draw, I think it could be fun to try to do a drawing and painting stream. But you'd have to be like me the first time I was in the boxing gym, and they were like, "Going, I think that speed bag's gonna knock him out," which is odd because it's filled with air. One of those things.
Yeah, I think that is true over here. Where like, if you're gonna do this stuff, you're gonna create your own stories, crowdfund.
Mm-hmm.
The way you're going to succeed, so you have to want to do this stuff. You gotta have that hunger, and be willing to put the time in, and especially show the audience you want. This is something you want to be doing.
Yep.
Show that commitment and do it.
Yeah. And show them, it's what I love about it is that, when John, I talk about John Malin a lot, and I have just a tremendous amount of respect for the guy. And it comes down to how generous he was with talking about how difficult it was, for him to get comfortable streaming and not showing his face at first, and how, and Ethan too, talking about how, he wasn't a natural broadcaster. Yeah. The trick about streaming, fail publicly. Interestingly enough, that's the same trick about being willing to crowdfund and being willing to share your artwork, So Phil, you're doing a drawing right now. Can I see it?
You want to see
it? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was doing like a little headshot montage.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Wait. That was actually not just a rhetorical question. I have to clean my glasses. When I said, "Can I see it?" You were
able to see it?
Yeah, am I able? No, that's exactly. Let me see here. Here we go. Let's have it. All right, let me make you big because I can't. I will not be able to see it.
They're just a little sketches. So I started with this guy.
Nice.
And then I did.
Let me see. There you go.
Story. And I was going to start another one down here. But
yeah, you gotta be doing some artwork, man. Like, I mean, you got it. What?
I don't know about that.
No, what do you mean? What do you think I meant when I said that? When I said you got to be doing some artwork?
I don't know.
Nobody draws who doesn't need to be doing some artwork.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like something you have in you. It's a stupid thing to do. Playing basketball, golf. Yeah. If you need to do it, there's no reason you'd be doing it. Do you know what I mean?
My thing is, I just go off references, right? And I can't draw from my head.
That's not how you teach anybody how to draw and paint. That was invented by abstract expressionists.
Can't create things.
But that's the thing. I didn't write. I'm not composing on the violin, Phil. Do you know that? Mary had a little lamb, and then it goes to Ashokan Farewell and the Brandenburg Concerto simplified. That's like within a year, but that's the trick. Like when I'm teaching people, the first thing I broke down, why it was so effective, is I started people on master copies and then explained to them why the master copies work. Look at this. Look at this. This is my friend who knows me since college. Sean smells teaching. Sean smells a teaching opportunity.
Yeah.
Listen, Rock, I'm trying to quit the field, brother. Don't encourage me. Yeah, he's a bit of an animator. He's worked on some stuff you might know. He's a good dude. Met him freshman year of college, and he saw me, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned this the other night, carrying my my first published comic book up from the library at our college. And he said, "Are you the guy from Chattanooga?" Because take a drink.
Everybody knows you?
Well, here's the thing. I was in the newspaper for publishing a comic book and going off to the college, and he happened to have moved to that town. So he was like, his mom sent him the article and goes, "Find this guy." And he saw my address on the box. It was crazy. And then eventually he was wearing a skin suit made of my skin. No, I'm kidding. But he was a groomsman at my wedding. I was a groomsman at his, and we've known each other for almost 30 years now. Gosh, we met in 1994. Hard to imagine.
So you know, year after I was born.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, right? This is the whole thing. Jay Lee and I were talking about this. He's 5 years older than me. My studio mate is 60 years old. Ethan and I are a couple of years apart, and he was born on September 1st. I was born on September 2nd. All of us were born all across the country. And in this incredible miracle of the universe, we've been thrown into each other's lives because we share these similar passions. It's a freaking amazing thing.
So Ethan was born September 3rd.
Oh, 3rd. Sorry. Was he born the 3rd?
3rd, yeah. And so, was I.
He was born the 3rd. You're born the 3rd. I'm born the 2nd.
That's
and
weird.
Walt Simonson and I have the same birthday. He was born September 2nd, too.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of Virgos out in here. Yeah, a lot of sapphire. You know, it's one of those things.
Yeah, my girlfriend's a Virgo, too.
Isn't that bizarre? But I meet so many people who are Michael Bancroft and I have the same Myers-Briggs type. Like, we were just joking. It's it's a somewhat rare one. But it's let me see here. Skip Edwards. Oh, here we go, Skip. Hang on a second. I might do a streaming show that the edits get back. Oh, the edits I get back from Richard Friend. I think it might be good content showing people how bad I'm getting cut up on my book. Well, this is the biggest thing, guys. This is the biggest thing. What I have found, and the best advice I give anybody from teaching, is one, there's no money in it. No, money in teaching. No, but this is the thing, is that the joy of teaching, whether it's when my boxing coach was teaching me some basics of boxing, or I'm teaching my son some of that stuff, or when my violin teacher is teaching me the violin, I refuse to quit. And there's a legit joy in watching, and I recorded it. Those first times I played the violin to now, there were things that it's like the first time you drive standard transmission.
Yeah.
And you just can't understand how to process all that and still drive a car. And then you're doing it by reflex. The biggest thing I always say is that every artist, including Picasso, he used the Charles Bargue, Jean-Léon Gérôme drawing course, learned from doing master copies. So the number one myth people have in their head is, you know, that you have to create out of your head, when in reality, you improvise out of your head. Once you people say you got to learn the rules before you break them. It's so not true. It's you got to learn the rules before you use them. You know, because you do use them, you know, like breaking them is not required. I can break the rules before I learn them.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest myth in the world. I just don't know I'm breaking them. And so when I'm painting this, what a lot of people will don't realize is I've spent a lot of time doing master copy studies, drawing from life, doing all that stuff, so that this is something in many ways I'm improvising, but I'm also recalling, if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's the it's like when you're writing, I'm assuming you've read some things.
Yeah, a couple stuff.
Yeah, a couple stuff. And so you have to read, learn the stuff, then you practice writing, and then you look at writing as models, and then you improvise, right? And you even reference things from the things that you've read. It's a common author, tool is to tip your hat to, whether it's James Joyce's Ulysses or anything else. I just want to point out to the chat. First of all, hello, chat. But I want to point out to the chat, and this is what I hate about myself in this regard. It's 4:38 in the morning, and I am waking back up. I am this lucid.
Well, I saw you about an hour ago drinking,
and I look like I was fading, right?
No, you were drinking a Starbucks freaking Frappuccino.
That's right. Well, yeah, but that helps me sleep. That's a different thing. That calms the mind.
Madman.
I know, man. It's crazy. So RB has known me since college, and my freshman year, they said you have to tell us some things about yourself, and I actually had a bill, I think, at that point, and I said to them, I'll give anybody the money I have in my wallet right now if freshman year you catch me sleeping. I held on to my cash. It was awesome. People would come to my dorm room, knock on, sometimes they'd knock on the door, but the door was usually unlocked. They'd just walk in, sit down, and I'd be sitting there drawing like it was midday.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, can I come in and hang out? Sure. Absolutely. Come on by. It's one of those really strange skills, but sleep is when they get you. I don't believe in it. It's like, that's how they get you.
I agree. Yeah. Now I get into like the crunch modes where I stay up super late, just working on stuff, and it's either writing or lettering or stuff like that. And my girlfriend will get mad. She's like, "I saw you're up until 4 a.m." So yeah, but I'll sleep when I'm old. I'll sleep when I'm
dead.
When I'm Archie Bear's age, I'll sleep.
That's right. No, you'll be banging those drums, and getting that fish. That may go down in history. It's Aaron's. I think is a contender because I don't know. Art's and Aaron's intros were utterly ludicrous.
So
but they were so. I mean, Art T Bear, Art the Bear. That thing was already there, and I was like, I'm gonna put him. In running water, so I'm going to animate that somehow, like, cutting and pasting frame by frame, and do a slow zoom, and then I'm going to put a fish in his mouth. It was so stupidly insane. And then Aaron's was just luck, but those are two of my favorites, man. Those were fun. SDA giving thumbs up. Yeah, it's 1:38 a.m. here. There you go, on the West Coast. Skip Edwards, I work nights and have kids. 4 hours of sleep a day is healthy, right? It actually... what they say? I was listening to someone talk about this, and of course, you can always glean scientific data for confirmation bias. Is what I do. That's the rule of my life. But I found that they say you should only sleep as much as you need. Like if you try to force yourself to go to sleep when you're not tired, it's actually bad for your sleep habits. They say that if you want the healthiest rule for sleep is to get up at a consistent time. It doesn't matter when you go to bed. It only matters when you wake up. And I thought that was fascinating. I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I love it. And we're all a little bit of night owls here,
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, I bless you guys. I mean, there's even still 12 people in this stream watching it is kind of remarkable to me. I finally found my people. They're all over the world and across the country.
Yeah, I'm sure Dale Keown's up Tron right now. He's a super night owl.
Yeah.
I'll send him the link.
That may be the only thing we have in common. Dale Keown and I. I mean, geez. Bless you, Dale. I'm a fan from the OG. Buying Pit in my local comic shop and thinking you were the cat's pajamas, man. That has not changed, but I will say this. As great of an artist as he was when he joined CG, totally started slipping.
Out of focus. He's got no focus.
That's a type of mental illness right there. Like that wasn't about Oh, that was kind of a shitty thing to say. For me, that was like going, are you okay? How things? You know? Do we need to hide all the forks in your house? You know, like, you know, good Lord. Because, you know, I mean, that kind of response is where you take the L, you know?
It's gonna be awesome when he does the new Pit book,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just makes them
Earth-shattering.
their words. It's gonna be so good.
I will tell you this. You were talking about Dale's evolution as an artist. I love his grayscaled pencil stuff. I know Ethan loves his ink stuff, which is I won't die on that hill. Like, it's all great.
Yeah.
But his pencil shaded stuff is next level shit. It's amazing. You know, Duarte is saying it is 11 a.m. there. Well, good morning, my friend. Good morning, my friend. Skip Edwards, work nights, have kids. Skip Edwards art is saying Dale Keown is a beast. It's so cool he's here and personable. Yeah, he's a dude. There's no getting around it, you know. And if you haven't seen some of that Hulk and that Pit or Darkness stuff he did, that penciled stuff, holy cow.
His Darkness stuff is awesome. Pit Darkness was great.
Yeah, it is some sick stuff, man. He's amazing. You know, and I love. I always said this, that there were no artists in my book back in the day who I would ever rank above Todd McFarlane, because it was his stylistic, it was his contributions, but also he was just my childhood hero. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But there was a time when Pit was coming out where I legit said, I think that Dale, and this is with hero goggles on for Todd, which I will never lose, to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
That I was like, I think with this issue of Pit, Dale Keown's pulled ahead. And that's like for a young kid who's, you know, is Todd McFarlane is his hero. That was massive. And that's how good Dale is. And that Dale's stuff, it holds up so well, obviously, because he's mastered his craft. But when someone asks me, 5:45 p.m. here, instead of working from home, I've been animating. Oh, Roach Ball's trailer all day. Excellent. Yeah, I'm working on a trailer right now too.
Oh, nice.
The thing about it is that Dale's, like, I remember when Chris Rock was saying, for a long time, I was a fan of Prince's new stuff. His new stuff was better than his old stuff. With Dale, his old stuff is classic, but his new stuff is my favorite stuff. It's his best stuff.
Yep.
There's certain artists who just, and Ethan, I would actually say that with Ethan too. Ethan stuff, so many people in CG, that was what made that comment so insane, are doing the best stuff of their career.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I mean,
no, you're right, man.
I mean, it's
the thing too. It's like the shackles are off,
mm-hmm.
and I think that is that's what we don't have any strings attached to us.
Yep.
So we can put all the stuff out that we want to. We can take the time with it.
Yep.
Make it as kick-ass as we can.
Yep. Yeah, there is no better outfit in art or illustration right now than what we're doing. I mean, it's just if you're willing to, and you have to have the skills, you know, you have to. It's not Superman isn't going to bail us out, or Batman isn't going to bail us out. We creatively put ourselves out there, and, you know, like I said, you have those moments where, even with Nosfero, even with those 2 art books, I was like, is anyone going to show up? Is anyone going to back this book? It is. Right. It's nerve-wracking, man.
For sure.
And that when you guys do, it is such an inspiration, such a shot in the arm, you know? And I can't wait for my Lost pages to come in, man. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be so fun, dude.
Appreciate it. I hope you dig it, man.
I'm sure I will, man. I think we're on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? I have a feeling I will, you know? It's like, we've had how many conversations, and this is crazy. How many people have I known for less than a year who I can't imagine not having a conversation with? That's the thought right there. But if you think about it from this regard, if I ever wondered if I was in the right place, when I came into this crew, the thing that was nuts about it was that I felt like once I talked to people, I was like, is this where everybody with similar interests has been hiding? You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just wild, man. You know, it's you find there's so many different kinds of people in CG. You can find your pockets of CG where, you know, there's people who are just so, you know, so passionate. Jeremy Bird's damn skimpy, damn skimpy teaser dropping soon. Yeah, absolutely. And Jerry Bird says, I the most artists here I didn't know about before I started following CG. Yeah, and let me tell you that for me, finding the yeah, that's awesome at the dying days of YouTube. Yeah, I never, like so many of us, you know, cut our teeth in Comicsgate, and I would never have met so many creative artists
Exactly.
and kindred spirits if it wasn't for CG. There's so much to be grateful for, man. So much to be grateful for. You know? Let's see here. It's funny when you get condescended to by somebody who is totally constrained in a prison of their own making. You can't even clap back. You can just
It's
laugh.
got to be some
in freedom.
subconscious jealousy, right?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, sure. It's the weirdest thing in the world that you know, for me is when I realized how many people actually are incapable of having a good time.
Oh,
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because there were certain things that I dreamed of from the time I was a kid, and I think a lot of people who have similar home lives have a similar thing with it. Not to, you know, get into it, but it's like I dreamed of having a happy family and having children,
Mhm.
and I was really good at the difficulty aspects of it. You know, like God, the 2 a.m. diaper changes of twins comes to mind, all that stuff, right? But it's the part of it that was the struggle at first was when you like something so much, sitting back and letting yourself enjoy it, letting yourself laugh at the silliness, letting yourself enjoy the way that they look at you with wonder and that they think, oh, dad knows this, and even enjoying the bits when they get to be teenagers and are like, dad doesn't know anything. It's great. You know, there's just a lot of love in this household and everything like that. And it's something I wanted from the time I was a kid. And, you know, the thing about it is that I realize and I fully understand why people have difficulty laughing, enjoying things. You know, one of my favorite things about and Ethan is cool. What I like about Ethan is Ethan doesn't. I don't speak for Ethan. I don't know Ethan that well. We've communicated enough to where, you know, we've seen each other. But the thing is like when he shares about Ava writing her name and coming home and telling him about that. I mean, that's the stuff I love, man. You know,
Mhm.
like that's the stuff that makes you. And then also the, you know, his oldest child, Cecil, when Cecil breaks one of his toys. God, I was watching the
Breaks?
aftermath stream. Do you remember that?
Did you say breaks or a different word?
Oh, I don't know, whichever one.
Okay.
No, yeah, but when Cecil broke the salamandroid and he was totally hammered, and then Ethan put him on stream, that was excruciating. Like
That's awesome.
as intoxicated as he was, I could feel his agony. He goes, and I just broke a one of a kind important thing for Ethan. Oh man, it was rough. You know, Lord, it's the good stuff, man. And then we get to talk Simon Bisley and share books and talk Swamp Thing. And I mean, there's characters that I'm not even that into, like Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
And I love Bernie Wrights and stuff, but I wasn't really a big Swamp Thing fan. And people
Mhm.
in CG have got me excited about characters.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I
Comics
mean, like,
love us, you know?
Swamp Thing's awesome. It is. There's a few big Swamp Thing fans. You know, look, Presty's a
Yeah.
big Swamp Thing guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He loves.
Isn't that what Garbage Man is, right? His big influence of Swamp Thing.
Yeah, he's just a big monster guy in general. That's why he
Yeah.
loves Wrightson. I mean, who doesn't?
Gosh,
But,
Wrightson, man.
the Swamp Thing show that they did for that DC streaming service was actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was really good. But they canceled it before it even the second episode aired. They canceled the second season because of, I think they were shooting in Tennessee,
Oh.
and there was a tax mishap, so they didn't have the budget for a second season because they used it all for the first season. Because they did all practical effects for Swamp Thing. It looked awesome.
You have to. It's got to be good, man.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah.
So that's too bad that they never did that again.
I will say this. All right, peace. I'm out, buddy. You win the no sleep game again. Love you, man. Love you too, Rock. Take care, and I will see you soon, okay? Get some rest. It's like, what time is it even there? 5, 3, 2 in the morning. God, get some rest.
Yeah, I gotta get some rest too, man.
Yeah, you gotta get some rest too, man. It's don't be this insane. You work out, you're young, you're full of life, enjoy it. You've got kingdoms to create. But let me tell you this, man, if you ever want to do some art stuff and some art streams, going over things like that, dude, I'd love to do it. I think it'd be a blast. It could help some people too.
Yeah, that would be fun, man.
Let me know what works for you, and we'll have some fun. Then we'll
get to. I want to do that pulp stream.
Yeah, man.
Time, dude.
Yeah, we'll get it done, man. We'll get it done. I cannot wait to get Lost Pages, and when I get Lost Pages, we should do a stream and just talk about it. I'd love to.
Oh yeah, dude. I can't wait to do that. That's
so fun. By the way, this is my favorite thing about art right here before you crash.
Yeah.
That setting up all that mud just to put in that green right there. That green
awesome.
Blue highlight.
Yeah.
That is, and it's the same thing when I've been working on Narwhal's piece right there and trying to set up like what's going on with the smoke to set up that red as it fades down into all this, like, and then the greenish smoke on the red ground, just pushing that Frazetta Corbin crazy color palette stuff. I mean, that's the stuff I live for. But It's amazing how color, which I used to be terrified of, I now sort of see opportunities for those moments. It makes it so fun, All right, brother, sleep fast, and I will talk to you. I'm sure I'll talk to you tomorrow, man. It always seems to happen.
Sure. Hail the chat.
Hail the chat, guys. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to send you out with some music, and I will talk to you later, brother. Have a good night, okay?
Yep. See you.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for backing Nosfero. I hope this is brought, guys. We're at 3 hours and 20 minutes. And I will tell you this, guys. I hope that it has been fun for you guys. I hope it's been a fun stream, brought you some inspiration. Thank you, Jason. Thank you to Art. I appreciate it, guys. I hope that it's something that's been positive and you can bring some of that enthusiasm with you wherever you go and have a great day wherever you are, whatever day of the week it is where you are. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. You're a good crew. I'm happy to be making artwork for you and making artwork with you. And I enjoy this time we have together. Really do. I don't think anyone can be just a fan here of the dying days of YouTube. You're either backing and supporting creators and promoting them, and fans of corporate comics don't have a voice in that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's very well said. Good night, y'all. All right, guys, let's send us out with our music because this is for us. This was made for us, and it's always a part of our fun here. Peace, y'all. Stay gold. You guys always stay gold.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do ya?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No gut, huh?
I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.